Dimitar Mitov there, Pat. I'm sure he'll be in for a busy afternoon. Do you rate him as a keeper?
I've watched a bit of it. I think he comes up with big saves, a lot of big saves, and he had a good start to the season, I believe. Then he got that injury against Ireland actually away, but there's mistakes in there too at times, and that's the consistency that you're looking at. That actually sums up Aberdeen's season. Good start, but mistakes, and then lack of consistency, and I think you're always looking for a goalkeeper who's consistent. That's the key. One who is, yes, he's got to be a leader at the back. He's got to have authority at the back, but he has got over the course. You cut out the mistakes. There's mistakes in there, unfortunately for him, but he comes up with big saves also. Good goalkeeper, but I think areas to improve would be the.
Yeah, there's been plenty of mistakes from Mitov. He's a good goalkeeper, good track record, but I think he's made a lot of just unforced errors. He's just looked a little bit vulnerable. I'm chuckling to myself about all this stuff about Alex Ferguson's video message. Is that Alex Ferguson's video message they need? It's Alex Ferguson's team. It's Willie Miller out there. That's what they need. Alex McLeish and all the boys staring daggers.
I mean, there's got to be a huge concern if they concede early here today, Tom. There's got to be a huge concern for the Dons.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's huge concern even if they don't concede early. Celtic have shown that sometimes they'll beat you up, sometimes quickly, sometimes they'll take a while. Last season it took right until the 90th minute. Tom Roggett's goal in 2017, last minute. A couple of penalty shootouts along the way under Rodgers. They just keep winning. They've conceded late equalisers in cup ties, and you think, oh my God, that might sicken them. And they've gone to penalties and they've won the penalty shootout. So they're just a winning machine, and Aberdeen are going to have to be better than we have seen them for an awfully long time. We go back to the 2-2, which was a really meaty performance from them at Parkhead. 3 of that back 4 not playing today.
If they go with the shape that we can now expect, 3 at the back, it's that 3v1 at the back, so they will fill space in there, but it's who takes responsibility for Adamita, who will take the runners going from midfield. Ingles will make those runs, either come in off the side, make those runs, and Nicky Devlin's got a real task up against him today. And then of course Taylor will be getting himself into positions there, so that's the other area that I am really looking forward to see how they match up in midfield. They have Clarkson, Palversa, Shinnie. Who's the holding player? Who's the ones that'll push for? Who's the ones that is going to deal with McGregor, for example? Is it Keskinen will be given that role if he plays in off, and Nesbitt to drop in and let the other 3 then fill the spaces with maybe an inverted fullback coming in there also. That is big. We've seen St Johnson against McGregor. I'm trying to think who was it that was picking him up. He was.
Can you mark McGregor?
It was Clark up front, wasn't it? He dropped in there, and he couldn't deal with McGregor because McGregor then started to run forward.
Can you mark him, Pat? Is that, I know Billy Dodds used that with his Inverness Cally Thistle side against Celtic. Is that a tactic that more teams should be looking at, or is that really difficult to do? You
have to man mark him. Sorry, well, you can talk about this. You have to man mark him, but you have to be clever because he is a clever player. Yeah. He will find space, and if you have him in front of you, fine, and he's back towards his own goal. You can see him, but forwards normally switch off if you're given that task, and he'll run off them and he'll get into space and then drive forward when the space is created, McGregor. So he's really difficult to deal with. So you need a real clever, strong, I think a defensive orientated player to deal with him, but can still get on the ball and run off him a little bit when you won the ball. That's not easy to find that player.
No, he's a sensational player, Callum McGregor. Very difficult to pin down. I'm sure that most coaches and managers will be looking when they come up against Celtic and say we have to do something about Callum McGregor because he orchestrates everything. He is the one, he's a valve, he sits there, he's always available, he's always available to take the ball. He can drive forward as well. He can score goals now. He's been scoring goals this season too. So you need an exceptional player to take care of him. Now, who is that exceptional player? Sorry, I think we've got Roy Aitken and Alec McLeish on. the pitch with the trophy. It is indeed. Alec McLeish has got the trophy at this moment in time.
He stole it off Roy, has he?
To the Aberdeen fans. Well, it was the last Aberdeen.
Roy's kicking him.
That was quite a contest, I think.
He was the last Aberdeen player to lift it, of course. You should know that, Packy. You were telling me that you went out of the 8 penalties. You went the wrong way every time.
That's a blur in my brain. Sorry. And it's such a long time ago. We have so many good memories since then.
See, Willie, that's the kind of attitude Aberdeen need on the pitch tonight. Noise them up.
Do you know what? Allow me just 1 minute.
25 years ago, Willie's come back.
Well, that's a far back you've got to go. Allow me this for just 1 minute.
Year and the year before and the other 10 years.
Just before the players come out, just allow me this for 1 minute. A wee story, and we touched on this in Sportsline a few weeks ago. When the teams come out, as is tradition now, all the players will have a mascot with them. One of the mascots today will be 10-year-old Callum. So on the 26th of April, I contacted Callum's uncle Stuart. I was looking for an Aberdeen fan to come on. It was a Hibs game. He said that I'd love to do it, but it would be too emotional. It's the first game we're going to since I lost my brother, Callum's dad. So I said, look, would it help in any way at all if I had a wee message out late on the programme just to remember your brother? I said, that would be great. So I did that, and he got in touch, said, look, we're all emotional in the car, but it was really, really nice. He said, Gordon, my brother, who's passed away, he actually bought a season ticket for next season. That's now going to go to young Callum. It had been renewed. So listening to that was Dave Cormack, the Aberdeen chairman, and he got in touch. He wanted me to put him in touch with the family, and as a result of that, he's got young Callum, 10 years old. It'll be an emotional day for all the family, but walking out with one of the Aberdeen players here today, Tom, on a very special occasion. And I think often football clubs and fans get hard pressed, but I think we saw this during lockdown, Tom. We know what football clubs can do for people and for communities.
Yeah, absolutely, and fair play to Dave Cormack, fair play to Aberdeen. It's a lovely, lovely thing to do. They're looking after their own, and it's a kind of very emotional story, and it's going to be a very emotional day for the family. And you're right, Kenny, we've a lot of negativity around the game and fan behaviour and all the rest of it. The power of good the football clubs can do and have done and will continue to do is huge, especially for young fans. This boy's day is going to be pretty special. I think no matter what happens, you'd hope that these teams really turn up for him, but I think this is a moment he's never ever going to forget.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to this great colour, great atmosphere in the stadium here. Willie Miller, what's key for the Dons this afternoon?
Well, I think organisation and discipline. I think initially they've got to do that against this Celtic side. You don't want to give them too many early chances, because they're more than capable of taking them and adding to them very quickly, as Tom has described. So I think it's a new formation. I'm sure they've been working on it tirelessly. If not just this week, maybe prior to this week as well, because it is a big decision from Jimmy Tillane to change. So it's that understanding, I feel they've got to have that, particularly the three centre-backs have got to have that understanding. They've only got one man to pick up. They've got to make sure they're communicating with each other, passing them on, making sure that he isn't causing them problems. But then there's so many Celtic players that can cause you problems. From an Aberdeen point of view, what is needed? Belief is needed. Tom mentioned earlier, how does Aberdeen win this trophy? Well, I'll tell you the most important thing: if you don't believe it, you're not going to lift it.
Pat Bonner, to steal a word that Willie used a lot at the start of the season, do you expect the Celtic juggernaut to continue rolling this afternoon?
Yes, I think they enjoy Hampden. They enjoy it. Obviously today the Hampden is wet and the ball move around. They'll move the ball really, really quickly, and if they have that tempo in their game, that intensity in their game, we know that they can play, and of course then they have to finish off the chances. But I think they will dominate possession, and they will push Aberdeen back. No matter what Aberdeen do to try to get it up in their faces, they will probably push them back, and they will create the chances, and I think they will continue. As you rightly say, the juggernaut will be there, and at the end I think they'll be lifting that Scottish Cup.
It's an amazing atmosphere inside here, Tom English. The players have just come out and see the Celtic supporters off the right hand side. Look, Ilkhead flags over there storming away. Afford in among the Aberdeen supporters here. The flame burners are going off as the players walk out. The key thing here is, Tom, and Willie touched on it, has Jimmy Tillane been able to make his players believe that they can do the business this afternoon? Yeah,
we're about to find out. Look, they need one of the many things they need. They need controlled fury. They need legal but manic aggression. They need to be in Celtic's face Give them nothing easy, and then see how it goes. But if they don't have those things, they're doomed.
Well, it's a big afternoon ahead. All the coverage right here on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. It's time now to sit back and enjoy the action. It's Aberdeen against Celtic in the Scottish Cup final with Willie Miller, Pat Bonner and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks very much, Kenny. A sensational atmosphere at the National Stadium. A sea of red off to our left-hand side. And likewise, the green and white hordes away to our right, and behind us, more or less a 50-50 split here this afternoon. One final effort required in this end-of-season showpiece as both Aberdeen and Celtic aim to finish the campaign on a high. Those backing an Aberdeen triumph are as rare as hen's teeth as Celtic look to clinch a third successive Scottish Cup and a seventh in 9 seasons, completing at the same time an historic 9th treble, and few are betting against them doing so. The players are just finishing going through the handshakes on the halfway line. The Celtic players just shaking the hands of the officials here this afternoon. We are approaching kick-off, and the noise and colour is a sight and sounds to behold on what we hope will be yet another fantastic game at Hampden. It was a fabulous encounter here at the semi-final stage last season when Aberdeen came from behind to force extra time and penalties, ultimately came up short. Celtic have won on their last 9 visits to Hampden since losing the 21-22 semi-final against Rangers. But as Packy said, they love a visit to Hampden, and they very rarely come out second best on these occasions as the two captains now make their way to the halfway line for the coin toss. Graham Shinney making his 300th appearance in an Aberdeen jersey. Remember, he played his 600th club game in total earlier in the season, scoring against Queen's Park in that game. I wonder if he could possibly mark another momentous occasion by getting on the score sheet this afternoon. I'm sure he'd settle for a winner's medal regardless of the scorers. That's for Callum McGregor. A 25th trophy he can potentially lift as the Celtic captain this afternoon, which would draw him level with the legendary Bobby Lennox, who himself was overtaken recently by James Forrest, who will have a chance to add yet another winner's medal from the bench here this afternoon. And Don Robertson taking charge of this one. It's his first Scottish Cup final. He was the man in charge of that tremendous semi-final here last season between the two sides. And it will be Aberdeen all in red to kick us off here, going from left to right as we look at it from high up in the main stand here on the south side of Glasgow. Celtic in the green and white hoops, white shorts, white socks, and underway we go. And it's back with young Jack Milne, who's in the middle of that back three for Aberdeen, and let's just see how that change of formation affects things here as Aberdeen try and get on the front foot early on. Clarkson can't find a way through. Maida just knocks out of play as it comes to him on the left hand side, and it will be an Aberdeen throw in. And first thing I notice, well, it looks like actually Jensen is playing on the right of the five, if you like, and Nicky Devlin will play as a left wing back.
Yes, indeed, which is a little bit of a surprise, I must admit. Jensen has played in that left back area before. I don't think I've seen Nicky Devlin play in a left wing back, both of them. I don't think I've seen Nicky Devlin playing in that area before, but that's what Jimmy Tillina's went with.
He has indeed, and it's Aberdeen with Palaversa into the penalty area. It's a flick from Keskinen. Jensen won't get there, and across comes Scales to clear as far as Palaversa, who's then lost out to Paulo Bernardo. He's taken him out, and it will be a free kick to Celtic
inside their own half, midway inside their own half on the left-hand side. We're playing a minute here at the National Stadium. It is Aberdeen 0, Celtic 0, and the early thoughts of Packy Bonner, the birthday boy, I gather.
Oh my word, don't remind me. Getting too old to be reminded of that. But anyway, listen, get back to the football. I just wonder whether Jansen's been put out here on Maeda. He might be able to handle him better with maybe Mickey Devlin not been playing that much football, and that, so he might be just protect him a little bit. But no, listen, as we thought that Aberdeen set up 3 at the back with 5 across, 3 in midfield, and Keskinen up supporting Nesbitt up top. Celtic playing exactly how we think. Back 4, fullbacks pushing high, going in on the inside, 3 in midfield, 2 wingers, and of course Adamida through the middle. So it'll be interesting to see how it all develops out. Settled down so far early on. It's just teams getting used to the conditions.
Here's Maeda left hand side, having scored in every round, takes it to the byline, gets the ball into the box. It's knocked away by Dorrington, who saw red against Celtic the last time the sides met only 10 days ago up at Pittodrie in that second consecutive 5-1 defeat to Celtic. Here's Taylor, potentially playing his last game. We'll hear perhaps more about that at full time as Carter Vickers picks up well inside the Aberdeen half and plays it to Johnston, out to the right hand side to Kuhn. Johnston goes in the overlap, that allows Kuhn to come inside. He's tracked by Clarkson, nudges it back to Carter Vickers, and now it's Engels. Carter Vickers once more as Celtic look to begin to dictate the tempo here, and it scales everyone inside the Aberdeen final third just about at the moment, apart from Schmeichel and Carter Vickers, as Celtic pick up on the right hand side through Johnston. Nudges it out to the right. It's a slightly loose pass, and much to the delight of the Aberdeen hawes over there, it's out of play for an Aberdeen throw. We've played 3 minutes. It is Aberdeen 0, Celtic 0.
It's a case of restricting space for Aberdeen, isn't it? I mean, you're talking about both Celtic centre backs being 15-20 yards inside the Aberdeen half, taking part in the build-up. Aberdeen, the 5 across, the backs restricting that space of 3 in the midfield, and even Keskinen and Nisbet dropping back into a midfield area. So you can see the initial tactics anyway of Jimmy Tilleen, hoping that he can restrict space, restrict opportunities for Celtic. I think it's really difficult as the game goes on to keep that sort of a momentum going, but that is certainly how he set up initially in this game.
Well, they won 13 straight at the start of the season as the Jimmy Tilleen revolution was started with a bang. They went 16 unbeaten overall until, of course, they came up against Celtic here in the League Cup semi-final, and a chastening afternoon that was, as they lost 6-0. Here's Johnston for Celtic. Now Engels back to the halfway line to Carter Vickers, just gets it out from under his feet, plays it back to Engels, and now Johnston right hand side into McGregor, closed down by Nisbet, but it's back with Carter Vickers. Now Bernardo, Carter Vickers once more to his left to Liam Scales, who's well and truly established himself in this latter part of the season as Brendan Rodgers' ideal partner for Carter Vickers. He almost lost it there to Keskinen, but he's done well to win that place back over Austin Trusty, Packy.
Yeah, absolutely, but that time he just hesitated a little bit, and he was looking for the pass wasn't quite on, and then Keskinen, who's doing that role as a number 10 and then taking care of McGregor, but it would slide across to the centre half when necessary, and he just has got a little bit of pace to get there nice and quickly, and he just possessed Liam Scales on that occasion.
Kuhn was trying to squeeze it through to Johnson, who went down off the ball. Celtic wanted a free kick, that didn't happen, but then Shinnie picked up and he went down, and Aberdeen get the free kick midway inside their own half, just to the left hand side, and an opportunity for them to move a few players up the field. A big afternoon this, Willie, for young Jack Milne, far from a regular in the Aberdeen lineup, but playing in the centre of that back 3.
Huge responsibility for him. He's got 2 very decent players either side, Knuster and Dorrington. Knuster in particular, sweet left foot, but as far as 22 perhaps, but he's young in terms of games that he's been asked to play, so a huge responsibility on him for one that hasn't played that many games. So it's one that he's got to embrace, one that he's got to enjoy, get himself up against Adamida and just snuff him out of the game.
Only started 1 league game over the whole season. came on against Hearts in the semi-final here to have a big influence in the winner. His shot was parried by Craig Gordon and turned into the back of the net by Ori Dabag, who starts this afternoon on the bench. But for Milne, who's got Tobers on the bench as well, and he's been chosen in front of him. But Celtic in possession on the halfway line. We've played 6.5 minutes. It's Aberdeen 0, Celtic 0. It's Celtic, the cup holders, coming forward. Johnston clips it up to Engels, who nods it down, looking to bring Kuhn into play, but Aberdeen nick possession and have won themselves a throw-in over on the far side as they look to just play their way into this game.
Yeah, listen, Celtic have got majority, I suppose, of possession, and they're pinning, but Aberdeen sliding across really well. They're keeping their distance as well. They're filling the gaps and just forcing Celtic maybe to go round them a little bit more. Here's a half mistake by Carter Vickers, gets away with it.
Yeah, he just was slightly loose in his pass back to Kasper Schmeichel, but no chance for Keskinen to get there ahead of the Dane. And Celtic continue in possession, and it's Maida. Actually looks like Keskinen's almost playing the further forward of the two who are
taking it in pairs, aren't they? You know, one will drop in, the other will go, and they're working. They're working not just McGregor, but the two centre halves also, and that's what you've got to do, and stop Celtic just being comfortable.
Well, if you can try and stop Callum McGregor, it's certainly half the battle in terms of trying to stop this Celtic side from performing as they like to, but there's so many other talents, and as we know, we've seen over the years Callum McGregor so clever at finding spaces, and here he is on the ball, the captain, playing it square to Greg Taylor, midway inside the Aberdeen half, in a central area as he likes to come into. Scales now square to Carter Vickers, and now Johnston, right hand side, midway inside the Dons half. It's Kuhn on that right flank, plays it back to Engels, who goes back to Carter Vickers, and then out to Johnston once more, right hand side. Callum McGregor picks up once more. Celtic enjoying the lion's share of possession as Ida just lays it off to Engels. That's just slightly behind Bernardo, and Aberdeen clear their lines for the moment, but Celtic pick up once more. 8 minutes in, and they're trying to put the pressure on this Aberdeen backline. Aberdeen cannot afford to lose an early goal, cannot really afford to lose the first goal, you feel, in this contest to have any chance, as they've won possession down deep in their own territory, left hand side, under pressure there, down near their own corner flag as Knuster battles away, forces it forward. McGregor's there, Nisbet's stolen it from him, sliding challenge from Johnston. No holds barred there from the Canadian to win it back for Celtic, and they recycled it as Scales finds Taylor, left hand side, out to Maida. Jensen quickly snapping into the challenge on him, but Maida keeps it and gets it back to Taylor. Aberdeen though looking well organised in these early stages. 9 minutes in, no goals as yet, as Johnston just edges away from Clarkson, right hand side, checks back once more. Clarkson gets the foot in, knocks it out for a throw in to Celtic, about 20 yards inside the Aberdeen half.
Yeah, Celtic just keeping possession, but Aberdeen working hard, trying to fill the spaces, doing well, working off each other, and Celtic just waiting for the moment, waiting for that. I think Engels tried a couple of runs forward in behind the defence. He was well tracked, but that's what Celtic wait for all the time. Keep the ball moving and then wait for that little penetrating pass or somebody to make the run, sliding it through.
There's not a lot of space there though, Pat, is there really? With the five is definitely playing as a five, and out of possession they just retreat back there, and you know, it's looking pretty solid in terms of not leaving the gaps in between these five players for Celtic to take advantage of. So listen, they're moving about. It's still early in the game, but it's a little bit of a struggle for Celtic to find the space, and it's a good sign for Aberdeen. 10 minutes in, that they're looking disciplined, they're looking organised. That can change very quickly, we all know that, but at this moment in time, early part of the game, it's looking good for Jimmy Tulane and his new formation.
There's Clarkson changing onto the left hand side and exchanging passes with Nisbet. Jensen tries to squeeze it back through to Nisbet on the edge of the box. There were Aberdeen claims for a handball, didn't look like there was anything in it, and Celtic clear for an Aberdeen throw-in on this near side, the Aberdeen right, midway inside the Celtic half, to be taken by Jensen. Throws it back the way to Dorrington, on loan from Spurs. We'll go back to Europa League winning side under the former Celtic manager Ange Postecoglou, as McGregor puts serious pressure on Graham Shinnie there. Too much pressure in the end for the referee's liking. He bundles him to the ground, and Aberdeen will have a free kick. But certainly with Shinnie playing in that midfield again, Willie, I mean, there are questions. He hasn't really played in that position all that much of late.
Yeah, I mean, he started the season in there with Nielsen as well, didn't he? That was a preferred pair. He can play that role, no problem. Callum McGregor getting into the back of him and seeing Graham Shinnie going down, I would imagine that he's seen that on a number of occasions throughout a number of seasons, where Graham Shinnie definitely takes advantage of any touch in the back. But I think he just wants to, I think it was Callum McGregor just wanted to make an impression on the Aberdeen captain there. He certainly did that.
I think Shinnie was clever, wasn't he? Because he had kind of stalled on the ball a little bit, and he was nearly getting caught. He just stepped across, put his body between the ball and McGregor, and went down and got his free kick.
Celtic have it just inside their own half. It's Johnston. Clarkson in front of him, so he plays it to Scales, and now it's Taylor, whose contract, as I mentioned, is coming to an end at the end of this season. Certainly Brendan Rodgers saying a few weeks back they expected him, it looked like he was going to go, but Greg Taylor has pretty much kept steam about it. There's always the chance that he could sign on again, albeit Kieran Tierney coming into the club. Here's Paulo Bernardo keeping the ball in the middle of the park, and McGregor helping him out to get it to Taylor. Taylor once more gets it back from his captain, and then tries to play that lovely ball for Maida. Maida into the box. It's Jack Milne in the way. Jensen's kept it in, maybe inadvisedly. Dorrington manages to poke it out of the penalty area as Aberdeen come under serious pressure there. Kuhn's managed to turn away from Devlin, but not Knooster as he slid in. That was a little bit rash from Nicholas Kuhn on Knooster, and wonder if that'll be worth a look from Greg Aitken. The VAR just overly committed, I would say, from Kuhn there, albeit you would expect him to go in for that 50-50. 13 minutes in, Aberdeen 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, I think it was a follow through really with his other leg that caught the defender, and yeah, just a strong talking to at this point in the game, I would think, from the referee, and that's what's happened. But that was the first time. That was the first time they played down this left-hand side, and they played that ball in behind Jensen for the pace of Maeda, and he got in. You could see him getting away quickly, and they were just waiting for that moment. Most of the play in this early stages has been down the right-hand side, and Maeda hasn't been involved, but that was the one moment that he got in behind.
It was cut out, Jensen, there's no doubt about that. Ball watching, you know, when the real threat is in behind them, it's always a real threat is in behind them when the opposition's in possession and that sort of a situation, and I needed a better ball into the box. So back I thought from Maeda, I thought it was a rather weak cross into the box. It was easily dealt with by Dorrington, who took up that near post position. So yeah, I think Jensen's got to be well alert to the pace. He should know that Maeda's got to pace the bum.
You can almost, you almost have to drop off a little bit and get your body in a shape that you can actually match his run, because if you go tight to him and he takes you on a run, he'll beat you.
It was a wonderfully judged ball from Taylor to play Maida in, and she go back to that Kuhn challenge, by the way, having seen the replay back, there was really not much more in it than just the foul. His boot was low and not endangering his opponent in any shape or form, so the free kick given to Aberdeen was the correct decision, and Celtic have got themselves a free kick over on the right hand touchline, pretty much in line with the 18-yard box, and an opportunity here after the challenge from Knooster, just putting the arms on the back there of Johnston. Again, not a massive amount of contact, but enough for the referee to award the free kick here, and it's a decent position for Celtic to try and threaten with quarter of an hour played. The Aberdeen fans trying to get behind their side. They've come down in good numbers, hoping upon hope that they can end the 35-year drought for the Scottish Cup. The free kick was a rather strange delivery from Mengels. He cut it back. I'm not entirely sure he thought he was playing it to, but it was in between a couple of Celtic players.
It was a bad pass, because he tried to pick McGregor out for Kuhn then to slide in behind the two players that was almost setting up that sort of kind of wall that he would get in that space, but the pass was awful. The pass didn't even, it was about 10 yards away from McGregor.
Celtic though still have possession. It's Scales on the edge of the centre circle, out to Taylor, back to Scales it goes, the Irish centre back into McGregor, and now Carter Vickers. Johnston now on the right hand side. Celtic doing most of the pressing here in the opening 16 minutes. Still no goals though, as Kuhn picks up right hand side. Back to Carter Vickers now, furthest Celtic player back, and he's well inside the Aberdeen half, as Johnston now on the right hand side plays in an early ball. Milne gets his head to it, gets good distance on it out to the left hand side, and Jensen, who found himself over on the left for a moment there, just nods it out of play, but it's immediately quick throw in is taken, and Celtic will come again. It's Carter Vickers square for Liam Scales, about 20 yards into Aberdeen territory. Taylor for Maida, plays it in quickly to Bernardo, who's benefited, I suppose, from that Reo Hatate injury up at Pittodrie. It's a real shame for the Japanese, you'd have to say, who'd played every game up till last weekend against St Mirren, would certainly have been in the starting lineup had he been fit for this one, but he sits it out as a result of the injury from the Papagay challenge. Here's Scales into the feet of Bernardo, now for Maida. Maida hits the byline, Jensen gets something on the cross to semi-block it, and Shinnie gets in there as well and knocks it out of play. But Celtic beginning to knock on the door a little more loudly.
Yeah, just a little penetrating pass again into that space, into that hole between the midfield and the back four, to get somebody turned to slide a little ball, just overhit the pass. I think Maida had to take a touch, and then he can almost run out of room.
Scales lifts that over the top, looks for the run of Engels, down goes Milne, it will be a corner. Milne was looking for a free kick, having nodded it behind, but referee's not interested, he points for the corner.
I think it probably was, wasn't it? I think Jack Milne made a bit of a meal of it. He read the situation really well. It was a good header too, but I didn't think there was much contact to put him down.
There will be a corner left hand side for Arne Engels to try and swing in. Taylor offered himself short and then moves away, and he'll stand right in front of Dimitar Mitov as it comes from Engels. Ida hits the deck. Aberdeen managed to get it half clear. The referee spotted an infringement, and it's a free kick Aberdeen's way in the edge of their own penalty area, as Ida looked pleadingly at the referee. Didn't seem to be much in it. Again, I'd have to say 18 minutes in, Aberdeen 0, Celtic 0.
I didn't think there was much in it either, to be honest with you. Leighton Clarkson going down. Was it Bernardo that was up in the air with him? He's maybe just caught him as the ball's bounced up, and Clarkson.
I think it was Carter Vickers.
Was it Carter Vickers?
That went down.
Oh, well, that's unfair then. Yeah. He's too big for Leighton Clarkson.
He had his arms and body kind of blocking him. I don't think he pulled them down in any shape or form. So yeah, I think the referee was right to let him go.
Yeah, Milne on Carter Vickers was the challenge that was proving potentially questionable, but it's quickly dismissed, and Aberdeen have got a throw in down in front of us, about 15 yards inside the Celtic half, just in front of Brendan Rodgers' technical area. Is demanding that Dyson Maida comes up to close down the throw in back the way. That's where it goes, and Maida eventually makes the run, and it's gone back to Milne and then to Mitov just outside his own penalty area. The Bulgarian goalkeeper, left-footed, hoists it long, but there's no real direction there. But Scales' header almost allowed Aberdeen in for a moment, but Celtic keep it, and Maida nods it back to Taylor, and now it's Bernardo, the Portuguese midfielder, clipping it forward. Maida hadn't made that run. It wasn't a bad ball as such, but Maida just hadn't made, for once, the run beyond the defender, and it's drifted out for a goal kick to Aberdeen. We've played almost 20 minutes here at the National Stadium, and it remains Aberdeen 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, you're right. It was a decent ball. It was played in over the top, but I think he had went to go first and then sort of kind of came off the trot a little bit and lost his relationship with Bernardo when he played the ball. And but it gives possession back to Aberdeen. Aberdeen will be very happy. Listen, 20 minutes gone. Yep. They have stopped Celtic from maybe creating anything really in around their goal.
Here's Bernardo looking to play it through for Ida. It was cut out. Aberdeen still on the defensive here. It's Maida nodding it down to Bernardo, edge of the box, gets turned, tries to get the shot in. Milne, and then Dorrington in the way. Dorrington just hooks out to this right hand side. Jensen will keep it in. He's quickly closed down though by Taylor. Ida steps across and gets it to McGregor. Dorrington and Jensen getting themselves in a fankle and giving the ball away as Johnston just nudges it back to Kuhn clips it into the area. Maida knows it across the 6-yard box. Out comes Mitov to gather, and Aberdeen survive. 21 on the clock, and still it's goalless, but Aberdeen just beginning to live dangerously at times at the back.
I think you've got to expect that. You know, I think Aberdeen would be more than happy if Celtic just play in front of them, but they're now beginning to find the little pockets of space, and they're beginning to dink balls into the box as well. The good thing from an Aberdeen point of view is that they've got plenty of bodies in there. You know, they've got the 3 central defenders, and the 2 wing backs are popping in to help at the same time. So from that point of view, I think that Celtic will be a bit more happier. I think Brendan Rodgers will be a bit more happier because they've been more positive with the passes forward. Because if you just play in front of a team that's got the 5 at the back and the 3 and it's sitting in the midfield, and the 2 strikers as well coming back, then you're not going to disrupt them.
No, listen, just watching Maeda there, he actually goes over the top of somebody and ends up falling. He could have had a nasty injury.
He really could have.
He came down on his maybe his back, top of his back rather than his neck, but he flipped right over.
Yeah, I'm astonished he's back up and not requiring any treatment, because I thought he could really have hurt himself the way he fell over the top of Dorrington, and almost a badly executed back somersault. But thankfully Maida is fine, and play is continuing. We've played almost a quarter of the game here at Hampden, and no goals as yet. It's been mainly about Celtic probing and trying to find a way through. No tests as yet for Dimitar Mitov, and certainly nothing for Kasper Schmeichel to do at the other end, as Aberdeen content themselves with just limiting Celtic at the moment. You'd imagine if they can keep it goalless beyond half-time, then eventually they will try to become a little bit more progressive. But as things stand, they'll be looking to just get in at half-time with no goals conceded, because they have conceded a whole load to Celtic over the course of this season. 19 in the 5 games they've played, including the 6-0 here as Aberdeen win the throw-in over on the far side. 30 games they've gone winless against today's opponents, Aberdeen, since an Andrew Considine goal on the last day of the league season back in 2018 won it for them. Drawn 6 since then, lost 24. It is not a record that they are particularly proud of, and it's one they would love to end over the course of the next hour and a bit, as Carter Vickers gets his head to the ball and nods it down the right hand side. It's out for another Aberdeen throw-in over on that far side. The Aberdeen left, midway inside their own half.
Yeah, Celtic just need, if they're going to penetrate this Aberdeen defence, they need up to intensity, a wee bit of their passing and their movement just slightly. Another 5%, just take a little bit more risk in the forward positions, and then they will create the opportunities.
It's too easy for Aberdeen to defend just now. That's all I would suggest. Celtic have got all the possession, but not really doing a great deal with it. And I think that you need kind of a more just direct play. Aki, you know, I don't think it has to be particularly pretty, but
it's all careful at the moment. It's careful, keeping the ball, knocking it around, but what's happening here?
I've got a stoppage here because there's a flare of sorts has been thrown on from the Aberdeen end, and it's down. It's not on the pitch, but it's very close to the corner flag, and so a steward's going to have to sort that out, and referee Don Robertson stopping the game while that happens, and we'll soon be back underway. But Aberdeen will be pretty content, certainly. I mean, you imagine they've pretty much achieved what they've set out to in this opening 25 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, that's a game plan, isn't it? That's what Jimmy Tillene has set his team out to do. But at some point they'll need a threat going forward, I would suggest. And they don't have that threat to going forward, and it's just all too easy for Celtic.
Yeah, here's an opportunity. It's Bernardo inside the box. Jack Milne started his game well, and he makes a good block there, playing almost as the sweeper in that back three, and he knocks the ball behind for another Celtic corner, but it could have been worse as Bernardo picked up a good position on the right hand side of the penalty area. Remember, it was his shot here in the final minute. Last year it was spilled by Jack Butland for a gleeful Adamida to poke home the winner. And here's the corner kick on that far side to be taken by Nicholas Kuhn, left-footed in swinger. Jensen gets his head to the near post, a good clearing header, and McGregor will go back and retrieve it. And now Johnston will take no chances as Leighton Clarkson closed him down. He turns it back to Kasper Schmeichel, who said, as I say, precious little to do. Won the FA Cup under Brendan Rodgers a few years back. And Celtic have it once more, this time just inside their own half. It's Carter Vickers picking up possession. Started last season's final, having missed the previous year against Cali Thistle. Engels just leaves it to McGregor, and now it's Carter Vickers. Again, Carter Vickers in scales well into that Aberdeen half as Celtic look to try and make inroads, and Kuhn's won another corner over on the far side.
Yeah, Aberdeen getting good blocks, and you know the block earlier when Bernardo ran in there was a vital block, because it was the first time he got into an area with ability and time to go and pick a pass, but the block was important. That was another block there from, again, up against Kuhn, but they've given away the corner, Aberdeen.
Which Kuhn will take once more, right hand side, left footed, comes in from the German, it's an in swinger. Mitov gets a good fist to it, it's out of the penalty area, claims for a handball against McGregor, but Luke came off his chest, and now it's Kuhn, sends it back into a dangerous area. Good header from Dorrington. Engels can't get there before Shinnie, and he helps it away, because that was dangerous once again. Aberdeen will pick up possession in the right back position. It's Dorrington, closed down by Maida, gets it forward to Clarkson, he nudges it on, Keskinen's offside, the flag goes up, and Celtic will have a free kick 10 yards inside their own half. 27 played. You listen to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland, where it is the Scottish Cup final, and it's Aberdeen 0, Celtic 0, and Celtic come forward again down that right hand side, and it's Kuhn cutting in off the right flank on the left foot, plays it square here to Greg Taylor. Taylor lines one up from distance, just over the top from Greg Taylor from 22 yards. That was travelling. Mitov flew to his left, couldn't get anything on it, but fortunately for him, it's maybe half a yard over, and it's still Aberdeen 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, Greg Taylor finding space inside left position, about 25 yards out, and takes it. I would like to see him do more of that, actually. He gets into great positions there, but at time, no doubt in his mind, and he goes for the strike, and it's about 3 or 4 inches over the crossbar. I thought the goalkeeper might have got a little touch on it, but the goal kick is given. But good effort from Craig Taylor.
I think when you get opportunities like that, then you've got to take them. You've got to be prepared to take them on, because Aberdeen are making it really difficult. Space isn't there, so the space actually opened up for Greg Taylor, some 20 odd yards out, 22, 23 yards out. They take it on, hit the strike. He's unfortunate, just flew over the bar, but I think if it was under, I think Mitov would have got a hand to it back here. I think he would have managed to get a good hand onto it as well.
Yeah, he got the equaliser in the League Cup final earlier in the season, Greg Taylor, having been at fault for the Rangers opener, but redeemed himself. Celtic came back to win that one, looking to complete the treble, of course, over the course of this afternoon, as Kuhn plays it infield to Bernardo. Now Engels back to Kuhn once more, midway inside the Aberdeen half, just right of centre. Now it's McGregor going to take the initiative here into the feet of Ida, who hasn't seen much of the ball, and he can't hold on to it there either. Aberdeen try and come forward, but immediately Packy, we've talked about it all season long, Celtic swarming round the Aberdeen player to get the ball back so quickly.
Yeah, reaction from the players is really, really good when they lose the ball. But that time Adam should have laid the ball off first time into the path of Callum McGregor, who had played it into his feet and went for the return, but he took a touch, and the opportunity was gone. But it was a good effort.
Here's Taylor at the angle of the box, left hand side. Now McGregor just dinks it into the box, but out comes Mitov to gather that one before any Celtic player can latch on to it. We've played almost half an hour, still no goals at Hampden between Aberdeen, who finished 5th in the Premiership, against the champions once again, Celtic. A 4th straight title for them, a 13th in 14 seasons. Their dominance of Scottish football in the last decade and a half has been quite something, and they're looking to continue that here.
Yeah, Wally was saying that they have to find a way to get maybe into the game more in an attacking sense, and they haven't been able to do that. Even that from that goal, the goalkeeper's got a ball at his feet. He needs to find a way to play that ball into and pick up second possession. He just ends up playing at the end, and it goes over his head out for a throw-in.
No, they don't have a target man. They don't have a number 9 that's big and strong. So
Kevin Nisbet not be the one.
Yeah, up to a point.
Here comes Celtic. Bernardo won't catch that though, and it's out for a Aberdeen goal kick just beyond that half-hour mark, and Aberdeen continuing to stand firm in the face of pretty persistent Celtic pressure, albeit it's not been overly clinical, you would have to say, from Celtic. Remaining patient though, because as the guys were saying pre-match, they don't always go and win it early on, but eventually they normally do win it one way or another. As Mitov blasts it long over the halfway line, won by Carter Vickers. Then McGregor gets his head to it. Knuster nods it forwards. Celtic go back the way to Schmeichel. Carter Vickers just steps across Keskinen to make sure there's no real pressure on the Dane as Schmeichel knocks it forwards. Miscontrol by Knuster, and out for a throw into Celtic more or less on the halfway line right hand side as they come forward. Carter Vickers has it now infield to his left hand side for Scales. Now it's Taylor who's had probably the best effort so far, just a few minutes ago, just over the top. Maida, who's seen less of the ball than Nicholas Kuhn on the other flank. And now Carter Vickers for Johnston. It's a good ball into the feet of Engels, who gets turned and plays out to the right hand side to Kuhn once more. Johnston infield to Carter Vickers as Celtic continue to circulate the ball. It's good play. Bernardo into Ida, trying to find a teammate, but Shinnie nicks it off him. That's a good ball for Nisbet. Aberdeen will try and come forward. Too easy for Callum McGregor to nick it off him though. Aberdeen need to take more care of it when they do get possession, and now they've lost it, and it's Kuhn coming forward, right hand side. On his right flank was Engels on that occasion, usually Johnston, but it was Engels in support. But just going back there, it's a Celtic throw-in, but Willie, Kevin Nisbet picks up the ball in a good position. Yes, he's not got a lot of support, but he needs to take better care of it, surely.
Oh, he's got to, he's got to have a far better touch on it. He's got to get his body in front of, I think it was Callum McGregor that came back and got the challenge in. And it's a great opportunity for Aberdeen to spring, and he's got Keskinen up with him as well. Callum McGregor looks as though he's struggling a little bit out there. He's up, he's walking, perhaps he's okay, but I think that challenge has taken a little bit out of him, maybe overstretched perhaps. Don't think there was much contact, but he seems okay.
No, the first reaction was to get back and put his tackle in, and I think he's maybe got a bang on the hip. He was pointing to his hip, I think, but I watched on the monitor here, but he's a critical player for them, of course.
Here comes Celtic once more. Bernardo though can't wriggle through between Dorrington and Palaversa. Dorrington tries to bring it forward, runs it out of play in front of his manager, the Swede Jimmy Thelin, who would absolutely love, of course, to cap his first season in charge here with a trophy that would almost immediately grant him legendary status in the city, you would imagine, given the length of time it's been, 35 years as we've been discussing and hearing about since that victory over Celtic in 1990 on penalty. Such a dramatic game. That one finished 0-0 as Maida picks up here, tries to make inroads into the Aberdeen half. Again it's Milno sweeping up. Here come Aberdeen. It's right hand side, and it's Jensen. Plays it back to Palaversa. It's a really poor ball from Palaversa, straight to Bernardo when he had the opportunity to try and lift it into the box. And Aberdeen, you'd have to say, they've been good defensively, well organised, but in possession of the ball they have been really too careless. And now it's Kuhn as Aberdeen are on the back foot again, but a good challenge from Knuster. Cross comes Maida to try and help win it back. Knuster going down a bit of a cul-de-sac there at the moment, just tries to play it up the left flank. He's presented it straight to Johnston. 10 minutes left in the first period, still 0-0 as McGregor looks to have shaken off the knock he took just a moment ago. He plays it out to the right hand side to Kuhn once more, coming in towards the penalty area, just nudges it back to McGregor again. Now Johnston in a bit of space. Can he get the cross in? Swings it way too long. Johnston's quality is usually so good from that side, but he's put way too much on that, just trying to whip it in, but it comes all the way through for a throw into Aberdeen on this near side. 35 on the clock. Aberdeen 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, and listen, he got into a great position to put that cross, and he had 3-4 players in the box, especially Adamida, Maeda, Engels, all getting in there at the back post, just overhits it, and a bit sloppy from him.
It's got to be better. It's got to be better. Like, hasn't it? I mean, you're really talking about a glaring opportunity, and to be honest, Celtic haven't had too many of them. They haven't had the opportunity and space to pick out someone in the middle from a decent cross. So a little bit scrappy now.
Strong challenge here by Devlin, the assistant, who was a yard away from it, flags to say that was a free kick rather than just a throw in. I think the referee, is he overruling him? Looks like he's given a throw in, yeah. I'm sure the assistant was flagging as if that was a foul by Devlin, but it's just a throw in taken by Celtic.
Yeah, but Kuhn picked the ball up really quickly and then stopped. He could have easily given the ball to Johnston, and they were in a good position to create something down that right hand side, but he took the intensity out. Brendan talked about intensity before the game. Celtic have definitely got to up that intensity a little bit more. There lots of the ball, passing it, keeping it, but just a little bit more, especially off the ball.
Your Scales out to the left hand side, almost in line with the penalty area to Taylor. Another clever ball from Taylor. He finds Engels plays it off an Aberdeen player and behind for another corner. I mean, it's probably not quite the time to discuss this at length, Packy, but Greg Taylor has been such a good player for Celtic, and losing him for nothing, if that's what happens, is going to be a real blow to them. It's a poor delivery there from Engels. Nisbet trying to see how he play. Eventually, though, he keeps it in because he's under pressure and plays it forward to Dorrington. I think that is over on the left hand side. A brilliant run for Dorrington down the left into the Celtic half. He's still got possession, surrounded by Celtic players, tries to dig out the pass. Scales gets it clear, only as far as Palaversa. Brilliant stuff from Dorrington, you'd have to say. Now it's Devlin over on the right hand side for a moment. Scales gets his head to it just inside the penalty area. Bernardo helps it on, and then Dorrington once more out to the left hand side to Knuster. Knuster helps it forward. Clarkson will go and give chase. Johnston with his back to goal plays it back to Schmeichel, takes a touch and then flights it out to the left hand side. Taylor under pressure. Another terrific first time ball, releases Engels forward. Engels up to the halfway line, looking for an option, just plays it off Palaversa and out for a throw in to Celtic. But Aberdeen's first 40 upfield, really.
Yeah, and the players were up then, Willie, yep. and Celtic got the ball, and it was slowed it down. Engels just slowed it down. It opened up, and all the space was down the right hand side. What bodies there to go and counter attack? Aberdeen was. Talk about Aberdeen, Willie.
Well, I wouldn't describe Alfie Dorrington as a ball carrier, but he certainly carried the ball extremely well on that occasion.
That's Engels finding Maida, but a good slide challenge from Devlin, who I wonder, is he swapped flanks with Jensen, or is it just a momentary thing? We'll see after this corner kick, which will be taken by Arne Engels on the left hand side. Celtic looking for the breakthrough before the interval. They've been frustrated by Aberdeen thus far. Aberdeen's change of formation looks like it's working. Taylor wanted that short. Jensen was slow to react, but Engels ignores him anyway, and he will play this one into the penalty area. 38.5 on the clock as Engels swings it in. Up goes Carter Vickers. It's in! Celtic take the lead in the Scottish Cup final. It creeps into the far post. Carter Vickers won a header. Did it take another touch on its way in? Nicholas Kuhn celebrated there with Cameron Carter Vickers. It might just have come off the inside of the post, but either way, Celtic have the breakthrough. 39 minutes in, it's Aberdeen 0, Celtic 1.
It just looks like he used his body strength. Carter Vickers, he was man-marked. It was right in the heart of the goal, right on the 6-yard box, and he's able then to just out-muscle. I'm just seeing who was picking him up, and he just gets his head.
I think it's Jack Milne
here. Yeah, he just holds him off. I think it might have come off. I'm trying to see it again. We'll see a better angle here. Came off the defender, I think.
It does. I think, I'm not sure it's one of the other central defenders, but it's Jack Milne that's got a hold of him just now. I think it comes off Dorrington's shoulder.
Yeah.
So it's a little flick on from Carter Vickers. He beats Jack Milne in the air. And as Alfie Dorrington's coming out, it comes off his shoulder and ends up in the back of the net.
Cameron Carter Vickers will claim that one. We'll need to double check whether it's actually going to go down or whether it'll be a Dorrington own goal. I'm not sure it was going on target before it took that deflection off Dorrington. I wondered about the subdued celebration from Carter Vickers, almost as if he was not convinced he'd scored it himself, as Celtic come forward again and trying to get a quick fire second, as Tom was talking about pre-match. Dyson Maida's down off the ball, still staying down as Aberdeen play on, but Celtic do have the opening goal.
stop the game.
Well, why should they?
Because he's injured.
Yeah, but
you don't know how bad he's injured. I know you're maybe not. He'll stop it. He will stop it. Aberdeen have got it in their own box. What is the point? You know, I don't think he's making a meal of it. I think he is injured. The referee eventually stops it. So why does he not stop it before that?
Well, do we not moan when the game's stopped when it's not
in the Aberdeen penalty box?
We don't know.
Possession.
We kind of didn't know whether it was an injury to his head or because he was down. It was his back actually. He's come in and I'm just looking at it. Let's get a knee into the lower back from was it Dorrington into his back, and that is a throw in, Willie, when they get it.
My point.
Your point. I know exactly.
Aberdeen have got it with the goalkeeper. You know, it's a perfect time actually just to stop it and allow. I'm with you if it's at the other end. Yeah. You know, Aberdeen have got an attack on, then I'm with you there. But I don't think in that he's got to take. And eventually he does make his mind up to blow the whistle anyway.
Goal looks like it's gone down as a Dorrington own goal. Having got a red card in the last meeting, he's got an own goal in this one.
Well, this is the point now that Tom was making before the game. Will Celtic now, you know, will they get going after that second goal and kill the game off? And that's where Aberdeen needs to now just have that leadership, have that concentration at the back. Don't get caught and be done on a second goal.
Here's Bernardo, edge of the box though. Johnston's in a lot of room. Here he is in possession, 20 yards out, plays it to Kuhn, right hand side of the box, comes off Knudster, another Celtic corner, and they are hunting that second goal down. And although Aberdeen did come back from 2 goals down at half time in the first meeting of the season at Celtic Park, you wouldn't put any money on them doing so again if Celtic are able to score once more before the interval. But they do have that 1 goal lead. Alfie Dorrington own goal. Cameron Carter-Vickers heavily involved with winning the header 6 yards out, and looking to do something similar here as Kuhn flights this one back post. It's Eder looking to get it. It's Dorrington who gets the crucial touch that time to flick it behind once more, and it's another corner kick on this left hand side this time to Celtic. We've got a couple of minutes left, plus around a minute as things stand of added on time, and Celtic leading by 1-0. Engels preparing to take the corner kick. It was his delivery, as so often this season since coming in, the Belgian, so often on the money. And Cameron Carter-Vickers once more, among others, looking to cause some more problems inside that Aberdeen 6-yard box. Here it comes, right-footed from Engels, again into the 6-yard box. Meatall gets plenty on that. Carter-Vickers was up, and Clarkson's won it over on the left hand side, plays it forward early, looking for Keskinen. Johnson's there first, now it's Jensen trying to make something of it. He's bundled down. Cameron Carter-Vickers wins it in the centre of the park, and he's going to go in the book there. I thought that was a fair enough challenge, but
a great challenge.
Yeah, Don Robertson disagrees.
That was a great challenge.
A bit untidy out there as the players come together. It looked to be a clean challenge from Carter-Vickers, but Don Robertson's going to put him in the book.
So I thought that was a really good challenge in the middle of the pitch. You know, one that you would be proud of.
It looked it, didn't it? You know, it was a sliding challenge. I think the referee was in, 2 minds earlier to give a free kick, and I think in that occasion he just wanted to stop the game.
He went and booked him.
Well,
you know, which
Shinnie's getting a yellow card as well. So I think Shinnie was up to Carter-Vickers, and there was a little bit of to and froing. Yeah, Shinnie's getting it, and Carter-Vickers is getting it.
He was booked for the tackle.
Oh, he showed him again.
Carter-Vickers definitely booked for the challenge. Shinnie for confronting him, trying to get the ball.
That's a good challenge.
Great challenge. Gets the ball.
The referee
get the player.
I know. There's very little contact.
So as Aberdeen ultimately get a free kick out of that in the centre circle. It was a relatively promising break. Carter-Vickers intervened and picks up the yellow card for his troubles. Aberdeen have played it short. It's going to be 2 minutes added on, as it turns out, as Aberdeen get it into the penalty area. They win the header, but safely, as far as Celtic are concerned, into the arms of Kasper Schmeichel, and we're into those 2 minutes of added on time now. Dorrington stayed down, having won that header at the edge of the box, and Celtic just knock it out of play. And it's the Celtic fans who are in jubilant moods heading into half-time, with their side leading by a goal to nil.
Such a vital time to get a goal to. You know, we keep saying about it all season. We keep saying that period just before half-time is crucial. Change the whole dynamic of a team talk, everything, Willie.
And it's a set piece, isn't it? And Aberdeen have not been great at defending set pieces this season. And you know, it's not as if Celtic are a team of giants either. In fact, you know, Carter Vickers is not 6 foot plus. Is he touching on 6 foot perhaps? But you know, it really wasn't his height, Mackie, it was his strength, wasn't it? It was his body mass coming up against Jack Milne that won it, and it was a little flick on. And unfortunately for Dorrington, who's done well, it's come off his show. He didn't know anything about it, couldn't do much about it either. He's down just now. Is it Dorrington that's down as well? His shoulder seems to be a problem. So you know, Jimmy Tulane could have a problem, but he's got Christos Tobers on the bench who could come on and play in the same position, so he does have cover for him if he wants to keep the shape the same, and if the injury is that severe, he's okay, I think.
Yeah, they'll certainly get him to half-time, I think, and have another look at him in the dressing room. But we've just seen a rerun of the goal. There's nothing Dorrington could have done about that, but Carter Vickers, yes, it's his strength, but it's his spring as well, isn't it? He gets up so well, just dominated Jack Milne in the air there, and he goes in off the post in the end, and Celtic have the advantage. We're into a third minute of added on time, as that delay there for treatment to Dorrington is going to mean another minute and a half of stoppage time to be played. Aberdeen have given the ball back to Celtic, who knocked it out for Dorrington to receive treatment, and we're back underway. A minute to play then of stoppage time, with Celtic leading in the Scottish Cup final by a goal to nil, looking to claim yet another Scottish Cup, 43rd it would be if they lift the trophy this afternoon and stay in possession. They've dominated the first half without overly troubling Mitov, but crucially they've got the breakthrough, and they're looking for a second here before the half-time whistle goes. It's Taylor midway inside the Aberdeen half, back to Scales and square to Carter Vickers. We've got the opener in the League Cup semi-final, the League Cup semi against Aberdeen in the 6-0, and heavily involved in that opening goal here this afternoon as Taylor plays it infield to McGregor, quickly closed down by Nisbet, but pops it off to Taylor and then gets it back once more on the left hand side. Celtic just content to keep possession here in the final few seconds of the first period. Engels back the way to Carter Vickers, and there is the half-time whistle, bringing an end to a hard-fought first period in which Aberdeen spent most of it defending in their final third. Greg Taylor with an effort over the bar from about 25 yards after 28 minutes was Celtic's best effort until 6 minutes before the interval, when Arne Engels from the left hand side swung in the corner. Cameron Carter Vickers climbed highest, headed it goalwards. It came off Alfie Dorrington and deflected in off the inside of the post beyond Mitov into the back of the net to give Celtic the half-time lead. And so at Hampden in this Scottish Cup final, it stands at the interval: Aberdeen 0, Celtic 1.
Aberdeen versus Celtic, the Scottish Cup final on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland.
BBC Radio Scotland is celebrating a summer of live music. We're giving you the chance to win tickets to the biggest gigs and festivals across the season.
Live in 2025 begins on afternoons, where you could be playing for a pair of Golden Circle tickets to see Robbie Williams at Murrayfield on Saturday the 31st of May. To find out how to win those tickets, listen to me, Michelle McManus, from 1:30 on Wednesday, that's the 28th of May.
Win every Wednesday with Live in 2025 on BBC Radio Scotland.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland, live from Hampden Park for the Scottish Cup final. A half-time score: Aberdeen 0, Celtic 1. Tom English, what have you made of that opening 45. It was very cagey, not a classic early on, but eventually Celtic finding their way through.
Did you say not a classic? Yeah, that's the understatement of the season. Not. Look, you could understand what happened in that first 45. Aberdeen just came to defend, to be organised, to be very hard to break down, to survive in the game. And you know, they might take a bit of criticism for that from Celtic people, but when you've lost 5-1, 5-1, 6-0, what are you supposed to do? You open up, you're going to get destroyed. So that was the only way they were going to try and pull off something. It hasn't. Well, it worked for the large part. The only goal that Celtic got was an own goal from a corner, which Aberdeen shouldn't be giving away. I know it was unlucky off Dorrington, but Celtic have had they haven't forced Mitov into any saves. They haven't had really any other chances. Greg Taylor shot from distance and flew over the crossbar. That's kind of it. So Aberdeen have done their job. They've just got a bit unlucky off a corner with the Dorrington own goal. The problem that they have now, as the boys are saying, is they have to come out a little bit. Eventually they're going to have to come out a little bit, put a bit of risk into the game, and Celtic are lying in wait for them. Celtic, they just gobble that stuff up, and they're just waiting for them. It's been a difficult half for Celtic, but they'll be thrilled because Aberdeen have everybody behind the ball and Celtic still have the lead.
Yeah, he's quite right, isn't he, Pat? Tom saying there that they'll be delighted with the half-time scoreline, obviously, but quite a lacklustre first half performance from Celtic.
Yeah, it looked very careful, safe, keeping the ball, passing it, moving it, waiting for the moment to get in behind. That's difficult, as Wooly described in the commentary. Difficult, no space really, and Aberdeen filled those spaces. Obviously having that extra player in the back line, and they've dealt with it most of the time. But now, and as Tom rightly says, they have to change if they're going to win. It's a cup final, so you have to try to win the game too. You can't just defend and hope to get away with it. You've got to change. Now they can flip back into their old formation, Aberdeen, maybe a 1-4-4-2 or a 1-4-3-3. They've got, I'm looking at the bench, they've got Papagia, they've got Daba, they've got Morris that changes. So they could change that to see can they take the game to Celtic. But if this game keeps going the same way, I think that Celtic will probably end up scoring another goal. When teams are getting tired, they have the artillery in there, and that they just keep playing the same way, waiting for the moment. Yes, I think the intensity could go up from Celtic. I think Brendan Rodgers will say that at half-time. He will have a few words with them and say, guys, yes, we can keep the ball all day, but you need to take a little bit more risk. And if you move a little bit off the ball, move the ball a bit quicker, the chances will come as the game goes into that sort of period where you get a little bit more tired.
Well, why can either of you answer me this? Like, Taylor has had a good effort. Okay, it's flown over the crossbar, but it's a good effort. Mm-hmm. Why, when they're faced with so many defenders looking at them, why don't they try that option? Because they are creating a little bit of space for a shot, but they're just not taking the shot.
No, it's a fair point, and I think I'd be critical of that. Of them, you see McGregor getting into great positions at times, and he can pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Kuhn will come in. What does he do? He probably normally ends up passing the ball to somebody else. He might, early on in the season, he was taking those shots on, but the fullbacks getting into those positions, yes, absolutely. If it opens up and take a chance, have a go from that perspective.
Do you not think that Celtic have got to try, firstly, to isolate the wing backs and get 1v1s, and then hope that Kuhn and Maeda can use their quality and their pace to actually hit the byline? They haven't done that nearly enough. They haven't isolated wing backs at all. And the other thing I would say is everything's in front of Aberdeen. There is no direct passes. What has he done? He just hardly touched the ball. Yeah. You've got a striker there, you've got a target striker there. I think what you want to be trying to do, what he does, perhaps, it's an old-fashioned phrase, but a little 1-2
or a cross,
a give and a go, perhaps is what they call it now. Or, play it into Eden and then go for it again. Try to disrupt Aberdeen. This is what I'm talking about from a Celtic point of view. Yeah. I'm delighted, by the way, that Celtic are not doing that. I don't think they're disrupting Aberdeen enough. I think it's too easy for the Aberdeen 3 central defenders there. They're just sitting there. There's only one player they pick up. You've got to do something to try and disrupt
well
them.
Though, Willie.
Yes,
they're defending well, and they're getting back in position very quickly.
They've been organised, Tom. They've been disciplined. They've closed the space. You haven't seen too much space in between any of the 5 defenders. The 2 wing backs have done their job. They haven't done anything going forward, Aberdeen. I mean, their 2 strikers have been anonymous. Keskinen's done nothing. Nisbet had one opportunity and he couldn't control the ball. So they haven't done anything going forward, Aberdeen, which is disappointing for me. I think they need to try to understand what they're doing, and they're trying to make it difficult for Celtic, but they've got to have some kind of a threat going. What they're trying to achieve. I haven't seen Keskinen running beyond Nisbet. I haven't seen Nisbet coming back and taking the ball in. So you need to have some kind of an option up front. Otherwise, Celtic are just going to. And the good thing from an Aberdeen point of view is Celtic are playing in front of Aberdeen.
Does he stick with the shape, Willie? Does he stick with the shape until later in the game, Jimmy Tillene? At what point will he be looking to change it?
Well, I think he might be reluctant to change it at half-time because, they have restricted Celtic, and Celtic haven't really put them to the sword. And I don't think Celtic have done enough, as we've just said, to disrupt the back 3. So he's probably in there thinking, well, with a bit of luck, it could be 0-0 at half-time. Going into the second half, it depends what happens. It depends if Celtic get a second, then he's got no option. He's got to do something. He's got to open up, as he did in the second half at Celtic Park when they were 2-0 down. But at this moment in time, maybe he's just thinking if we keep it going. But they haven't created anything, Kenny. That's a problem. If they had managed to get a breakaway, if Keskinen had managed to run beyond Nisbet, if Nisbet and Keskinen had managed to link up, then perhaps that would give them optimism that they do have a threat. But so far they haven't had a threat. Nothing from midfield. Palaversa had a great opportunity when it was cut back to him, gives the ball away needlessly. Shinnie hasn't really had an impact other than defensively, and Leighton Clarkson hasn't done too much either. So I think from an Aberdeen point of view, Jimmy Tillene will be happy enough with the performance and how they've restricted Celtic, but at the same time he needs more. He definitely needs more.
Yeah, I agree with that, but it's the timing of that. When does he change? I don't think he'll go out, because if he loses a goal early in the second half again, which Celtic can normally do, certainly then the game's over. The game's over. So you've got to stay in the game as long as you can and hope then. And I think he will definitely change it. I think you put Jed Morris on. He's got the pace, he's got the strength, but you've got to find them players high up the pitch. Every time that you get the ball at the back, it's almost like we'll try a pass, but it's not that accurate, and it's not getting up to the players in the right position, and then Celtic just winning the ball back again, and then they're just losing possession.
Tom, I'm not quite sure what it is, but there's something going on over on the far side there among the Aberdeen fans. There's quite a strong presence
over in the corner, left-hand side of the goal, Aberdeen end. A very heavy presence of stewards. We can see, I don't know what they are. We can see objects flying. Whether they're cups, whether they're, I don't know what they are, but they seem to be. This is another one. There's been a lot of them. I don't know what they are, but there's a heavy presence of stewards over there.
Yeah, we'll keep a very close eye on that, Tom. What are your thoughts then ahead of this second period? What will Jimmy Tillene be contemplating right now in the dressing room down below us?
Well, I think he'd want the same concentration levels, discipline levels. They've been very, very good. Of course, he'll want a bit more threat. Now, involved in that is risk. Involved in that is a gamble, and you could get vulnerable down the other end. But they can't keep playing this way and just losing 1-0, going out with a whimper. At some point, they're going to have a little bit of a go now that they're behind. If it was 0-0, they could stay like this and just hope for the best. There's no point in continuing like this and losing 1-0. So I think they're just going to have to put a little bit, not immediately, but just see what happens. But they've had zero goal threat, not even a suggestion of a goal threat. Over on the far side, it seems to be. I don't know. Someone is saying it could be the stuff from the tifo. I don't know, but it seems to be fine.
I think as far as Jimmy Tillene's concerned, surely he's got to be looking at his front two and thinking, They've had nothing out of them. Nothing out of them. You know, who's he got? He's got Papa Gay. He's got the bag. The bag's an athletic, energetic type of striker. You know, reasonably tall as well. Maybe a better target man than any of the two that are on just now. You've got Papa Gay as well, who's a big physical presence that might be able to do something a little bit different. The rest of them have done okay. The back five have done okay. Mitov's been pretty decent in goal. The midfield three, without being, you know, special, they've done all right, but it's mostly been defensive. But when they've had the ball, they've had no outlet, they've had no one to hit, they've had no target, they've had nothing to play over the top to run on to. So I think the front two, for me, would be an area to look at.
Yeah, is that also maybe they don't have the wide men to play to two? You know what I mean? Because the wing backs are mainly back doing a defensive role. To go from a back five to get up the pitch to be an out is really, really difficult. You either stay higher up the pitch and leave that space for your almost your right and left centre back of a three to come out there and deal with it. But they're so tied up with stopping Maeda and Kuhn, and they're so restrictive in getting forward. There's no other out ball for them apart from the front two. And you're talking about the front two, so yeah, definitely. But changing the shape might allow them to be higher up the pitch, if you know what I mean, with two wide guys.
Well, you've got to caveman tactics and put two big, strong guys up there, and Papa Gay in the bag, because they are tall, they are strong. The bag can run into space. You know, his first touch, and Papa Gay is not great, but he's a physical presence. You know, just having a physical presence up there, just allowing either the goalkeeper or the back five, who are not really moving much out of their position, to be able at times to look up and think, I could hit him. And then you've got support from midfield thinking, well, these two could disrupt Scales and Carter Vickers. That's all. That's how I'm looking at it, Packy. From an Aberdeen point of view, he's got to get more out of the front two, or he's got to change the front two, or at least one of them, to try and get more impact when Aberdeen have the ball. Not that they've had the ball very often, but when they do have it, try to keep it, try to have a kind of a focal point up top to allow the midfield to think, right, we could get possession, maybe not easy possession, we could push up, and the back five could push up as well. But as it stands, defensively fine. You know, Celtic, I think, struggling to disrupt Aberdeen. They've lost the first goal. If they lose the second goal, then something has definitely got to. And it might be too late by then.
It might be, but they just need to look. Top marks for endeavour, concentration, defensive organisation. 0 marks for offensive threat, ambition. I know it's difficult to combine the two, but they're going to have to do it now. That the first half, like, think of previous cup finals. It's hard to remember a team having zero threat. Like
Tom,
zero.
how do you think that goes down with the fans? I think the 20,000 Aberdeen fans make the journey here today. I wonder, as a fan, how you view that.
I think the fans will probably, I think a lot of them will understand it. Listen, they've just been annihilated 5-1, 5-1 and 6-0 by these guys.
Yeah.
So they're fearful of overcommitting. And they have a plan. And I said part in jest after 10 minutes on our live text that or 12 minutes I think it was, that Aberdeen were 12 minutes into their pursuit of penalty shootout. I was only half joking, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, that is the plan.
That would suit them. That would suit. But that's now gone out the window probably with the 1-0.
Absolutely. But for 40 minutes the plan was working.
It was. For all bar that one corner, Packy, the plan was working, because Celtic didn't have talk about Aberdeen not having a threat. Celtic had 83%, 84% possession, and no shot on target.
And I'm sorry to say it, Celtic don't score from corners too often. You know what I mean? They're not a prolific team that will get chances even from set pieces, not alone score. So that's really disappointing for Aberdeen, especially with 3 centre backs in there.
Well, the teams are back out. Let's get back to our commentary team. It's Aberdeen against Celtic with Willie Miller, Pat Bonner and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks again, Kenny. We're all set for the second half. Celtic supporters treating us to quite the display. Away to our right, green and white flags waving behind Dimitar Mitov's goal. Looks like whatever is going on among the Aberdeen fans is still going on. There's still a lot of steers and there's still things being thrown I think as Tom was suggesting, it is stuff that was put out on the seats for a tifo display pre-match, so it's not ideal by any stretch of the imagination. The stewards seem to be in control of the situation. No, we're back underway, and Aberdeen need to somehow find a goal at some stage to at the very least take this one into extra time. They're coming forward here, and it's Nicky Devlin just takes a nudge in the back there from Bernardo, and it will be a free kick to Aberdeen midway inside the Celtic half. And you would expect at some stage Aberdeen to try and be a little bit more positive in their play, and perhaps at some stage also change the shape, but yeah, for the most part they had achieved their goal. Their obstacle was getting over that 40-minute mark, which they couldn't quite do as Celtic struck the opener. Here they have an opportunity as Shinnie swings a free kick in. Milne can't quite get there, nor can Dorrington, and it goes all the way out to that far side, and Ida picks up in the left back position and begins to motor forward down the left flank. Maida's ahead of him, he plays it to him. Jensen thought about the challenge, then he checked out of it, and Maida continues left hand side, looks to pick out Kuhn sweeps it towards goal, but it's a comfortable save in the end. I think it was probably heading slightly wide, and Mitov grabs it, but a lightning counter-attack from Celtic as they look to hurt Aberdeen at the start of this second period. 46.5 played. Aberdeen 0, Celtic 1.
Yeah, it came from obviously Aberdeen's free kick, and it was a good ball. It was a really good ball in between the goalkeeper and the back four, but nobody could get the end of it. But Celtic, I should say, very quickly then on the counter-attack and created an opportunity in the opposite end, and that
Jensen almost looked spooked by Maida as he came forward there down the left hand side, got the cross in, but Kuhn unable to turn it into the net. So still 1-0. Alfie Dorrington's own goal just prior to the break, the difference between the sides.
I just wonder what each manager was saying to their team at half time. What Brendan was saying to Sully, will you see a kind of a change? And there's Maeda going to Jensen.
Yep, left hand side. Cuts back the way to Taylor. Engels went down inside the penalty area as that move began down the left flank. Play continues with Carter Vickers on the ball and then plays it square to Liam Scales. I think Brendan Rodgers will want more from his side, won't he?
More intensity, definitely. You know, it was all very safe in the first half, I thought, and I think he'll probably want them to really up the intensity by 5 or 10%.
Here's Kuhn cutting in from the right hand side, into the box he goes. He almost got it back there from Engels, couldn't quite do so, but Celtic have won it back once more. Nisbet said he was fouled. Ball's played into the box. Jensen gets there just ahead of Maida. That will be a free kick on the edge of the box to Aberdeen, the edge of their own penalty area, and a bit of breathing space for them as Celtic just looked to win the ball back so quickly. It was Palaversa who was fouled at the edge of his own penalty area on that occasion. Aberdeen 0, Celtic 1, 48 played.
I think it is just that intensity that Celtic need in and around the box, isn't it? I mean, to be fair, Aberdeen they're covering the space. You know, there isn't very many gaps there for Celtic to take advantage of.
Scales plays it across his penalty area. Schmeichel's there first with Keskinen looking to close down. It's back with Schmeichel once more, just looks to clip that out to this near side. It's out of play for an Aberdeen throw in.
It's good pressure. It's a good press from Aberdeen, high up the park as well. You know, perhaps Jimmy Tillane is asking them to be a little bit more ambitious with the press rather than just giving up the space and going back to the 5.
Knister finds Palaversa 30 yards from goal. I think his shot came off Nisbet there. Palaversa picks up once more. He was fouled by Maida. I'm not sure.
No, I don't think so.
He actually was, but the referee is certainly given the free kick about 25 yards from goal. Looked to me to be a slip more than anything from Palaversa, but we'll get another look at it on our monitors. But nonetheless, the referee has given it and can't be changed now.
No, and it's a great position, brilliant position for Aberdeen. But I agree. I thought he lost his balance a little bit and kind of almost tripped over himself and fell into Maeda. But listen, it's a great position, far enough out to get it up and down, right in the middle of the goal. Difficult for the goalkeeper.
Well, this is one of the better opportunities. Len Clarkson, I would imagine, would be desperate to have a pop at this one. He's more than able. He's over it with Kevin Nisbet. I'm sure Kevin Nisbet will be pretty keen to take it as well, but no, I think the right man is getting the opportunity, with the right foot. Wayne Clarkson.
Yeah, Shinnie's also over it, but you would very much fancy Clarkson is very slightly right of centre, I think, about 27 yards from goal, if I'm reading the cut of the grass correctly and doing my arithmetic properly. It's Clarkson or Shinnie, right foot or left foot. Schmeichel stands in his line, the Celtic wall just inside the box. It is Clarkson who goes for it, but Schmeichel read his intentions all the way, stepped to his left and grabs that very comfortably. And after 50 minutes here, it remains Aberdeen 0, Celtic 1.
Yeah, I think he's seen the ball as it's been hit, so he could move his feet across the goal. Very comfortable for him. And I just wonder whether Aberdeen had anybody in his line just to block him off, but mustn't have had, because it was so easy for him.
Devlin gets it back to Mitov. But that'll definitely go down, I think, as Aberdeen's first shot on target. We'll be looking to get a few more of those as they try to get an equaliser here at Hampden in the Scottish Cup final. Jensen under pressure there from Taylor, plays it off him for a throw-in, more or less on the halfway line. Right the way he goes to Dorrington, who has recovered from whatever the knock to his shoulder was just before the interval. As Mitov plays it long up to the halfway line. Carter Vickers puts his head in where it hurts and gets the free kick. Nisbet's boot adjudged to have been high there. And Carter Vickers again just using his strength and also bravery to get his side that free kick right on the halfway line. Callum McGregor looking to take it quickly. Not allowed to do so, but just plays it short to Bernardo, who clips it out to this near side, the Celtic right, to Johnston, back to the halfway line to Carter Vickers, just inside the Aberdeen half, plays it infield once more to Bernardo, straight ball forward to Ida. Ida takes a touch, then a little flick between his legs and finds Engels. Good play from Ida that time. Good ball from Johnston across goal, and Milne turns it behind his own goal and behind for a corner. Again, it's good defending from young Jack Milne. He's done just about everything barring losing Carter Vickers for the Celtic goal, but otherwise he's in a good game at the heart of the Aberdeen defence.
Yeah, the cross went actually through the first defender, and so he didn't see it probably till very late, but he just reacted, got his foot to it.
Celtic corner then, right hand side, to be taken by Kuhn, left footed into the near post. His glance goal was by Maeda, but just over the top from the Japanese, looking to write his name in the history books with a goal in every round, including the final. But just over the top on that occasion. 53 on the clock. Aberdeen 0, Celtic 1.
I thought he should have done better. He's lost Nicky Devlin. Nicky Devlin was his marker, and he's made the run to the near post, and I don't think he was under too much pressure. He gets a little flick on it, but just gets too much.
Better play from Aberdeen. The pass from Palaversa wasn't good enough for Keskinen, and Celtic pick up, and it could be away here on a counter of their own as Bernardo plays it out to the left hand side to Maeda, who's up against Dorrington here, coming in field. Shinnie comes across to help. Dorrington sticks his head in the way, and it breaks for Bernardo. Now it's McGregor, about 15 yards inside Aberdeen territory. To his left is Taylor, back to McGregor. Everyone behind the ball again for Aberdeen as Taylor picks up again on the left hand side and then goes back to Scales. Scales plays it square to Carter Vickers, and then out to the right hand side to Kuhn. Cross comes Devlin, he's not getting close to him yet, clips it into the area. Milne's there once more to fend it off. Carter Vickers picks up the loose ball and finds Johnston, who in turn plays it to Kuhn. Kuhn coming forward, tries to reverse it to Johnston, but across comes Knuster, gets there first, clips it down the line. Carter Vickers heads it forward once more. It'll come back to Knuster, who takes a touch away from Johnston, just slightly touched by the Canadian, and he goes to ground, wins his side a free kick. 54 played, 1-0 Celtic lead.
Yeah, just feeling the game's opening up a little bit, Willie.
I think Aberdeen have opened up a little bit. There's more intent to go forward. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think the energy is there in the midfield. The low block is not as low as it was, and certainly the gaps between that back five and the mid three has opened up, and it's made Aberdeen have a little bit more of a threat.
Taylor fires it forward, just too much on it after some cool defending in the first instance, but he couldn't find Maida with the pass forward, and it's bowled out by Mitov for Dorrington. Maida getting back at him, Dorrington battling away but losing out, and Taylor gets it to McGregor. Good work ethic as always from Maida, and forward it comes in the left channel for Ida, last season's Scottish Cup winner with that final minute goal against Rangers. Here's Taylor into Maida. Celtic just slow it down a little bit once more. There's going to be a change for Aberdeen with Papagay preparing to come on, the first change of the game, as Kuhn picks up right hand side about 20 yards from the byline, plays it short to Johnson and gets it back, and now it's Bernardo nudging it to McGregor and then back further to Carter Vickers. McGregor once more midway inside the Aberdeen half. Here's Johnston into Bernardo, it goes. Clarkson trying to get close to him, but it's out to Kuhn on the right hand side, allowed to come in on his left foot, plays a little bounce pass, not once but twice, and it comes to McGregor.
They're playing those little balls in there. There's opportunity for those players that are receiving to open up a little bit and play forward. They're just bouncing it back again to where it came from.
Carter Vickers plays it square to Scales, 10 yards inside the Aberdeen half. Now it's Taylor. Still Gay waits patiently to come on. It'll be interesting to see who he comes on for, as Maida is looked to be fouled there by Jensen as he played the ball backwards. Celtic still in possession, so play continues. Johnston's measured that perfectly. That was a slightly dodgy challenge there by Knuster on Ida. Ultimately it's off Milne for a corner kick. Could have been worse there had Knuster caught Ida as he made the challenge, and now despite the fact that it's a corner kick that Aberdeen are defending, it's going to be Keskinen who's replaced by Papagay on the 57th minute. And
you got your wish, Wally?
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. I don't think Keskinen is the type of player that can play as a number 9 or a number 10. He's a wide player, he's a ball carrier, he'll get you up the park, he can play right, he can play left, but he's not that target man either, and they've had nothing out their front too, so you need someone, you know, a bit of presence. Papagay's got a bit of presence, and his touch is not the best, but at the same time he's got presence, he's got good height, he could be dangerous at set pieces if Aberdeen can get set pieces in and around the Celtic box.
The first thing he needs to do is help defend this set piece that Celtic have, the corner kick on the right hand side. He's booed onto the park by the Celtic fans as Kuhn swings it in. It's a good delivery, but Mitov gets 2 fists to it, only as far as Bernardo helps it back in. Ida looks like he's offside. Maida challenges the keeper, but he grabs it anyway. Papagay involved in that challenge with Hatate at Pataudry that ruled the Japanese midfielder out of this afternoon's cup final. Mitov's not happy that he was impeded there as he tried to clear. He is going to get the free kick. He's now been spoken to by the referee about his complaints there, but it will be a free kick.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that he's complained, because as a goalkeeper you're trying to hit on the counter attack, and if you're impeded when you're striking the ball, then obviously that goes out the window, and I thought the referee might have booked Maida for that one. Stand up for the goalkeepers, of course.
No card shown as Mitov gets it to Shinnie, and Shinnie out to the left hand side to Knuster, down the left hand side for Clarkson. Devlin had just gone offside, so it's an intelligent ball infield for Gay. Papagay 25 yards out, spreads out to the right hand side when he could have had a goal there, as Parky's suggesting. Comes back here with Jensen, infield to Shinnie. Aberdeen need to take any opportunities that present themselves, and that was at least a half a chance for Gay to go for goal. Milne gets it to Shinnie, middle of the park. Now it's Palaversa, tries to bend the ball into the box. A good clearance and challenge there from Scales. The offside flag is up though in the end against Aberdeen. It was Devlin again getting in there into the penalty area. Celtic get the free kick just a couple of yards inside their own box. Just a minute short of the hour mark. Aberdeen 0, Celtic 1.
Well, it's much better. You know, it's now a contest, at least with Aberdeen's approach to the game. You know, not just happy to sit back with the 5. Yeah, they'll go back, you know, and have the 5 at the back and make it difficult for Celtic. But when they've got the ball, there's more intent to get forward. The midfield players are trying to support the front too. I think Papagay coming on is at least a bit of a target. I think Nisbet's got to make himself more available for any ball that Aberdeen have at the back. And generally, there's much more space from an Aberdeen point of view, from the 5 to the 3 in the middle to the 2 up top, and it's made a much better game, and I think it's given the Aberdeen fans a little bit of hope.
Here's Johnston now out to Kuhn, attacking down the right hand side. Devlin read the pass there for Johnston. 2 number 2s come together. It's a bad decision there by Knuster. He's given it away to Kuhn. Now it's McGregor, 25 from goal. Plays it into the feet of Bernardo, out to the right to Engels. Engels comes forward. Knuster makes the clearance from just outside his own 6-yard box, knocks it out for a throw in to Celtic, about 15 yards away from the corner flag. An hour played, 1-0 Celtic leads here at Hampden. You listen to Sportsound on BBC Radio Scotland. Their cup final coverage continues tomorrow on both radio and TV, as well as our digital platforms, with the Women's Scottish Cup final between Glasgow City and Rangers. Join us for that one. Should be a close contest as well. But at the moment, it's all about the climax of the men's season, as Aberdeen get a throw in, more or less in line with their own penalty area, will be taken here by Knuster. Won by Kuhn though, unchallenged, into the middle of the park. Here's Ida, picking up possession, going back the way though to the edge of the centre circle for Taylor. Then McGregor picks the pass to Bernardo ahead of him. Bernardo lays it off to the left hand side to Taylor once again. Grey skies over Hampden, threatening further rain here in the south side of Glasgow, which we've not seen all that much of in recent weeks, but plenty of in the last 24 hours. Here's Gay as Aberdeen pick up and trying to come forward in the left hand side. Precious little support, and he does well even to get his side a throw in an advanced area.
That's positive though. Yeah, he picked the ball up and he's got to see him forward, won a throw, and Celtic just around the edge of the box, just been overcomplicated.
Down goes Gay, and he's won inside a free kick this time with the challenge of Johnston, just about 10 yards away from the goal line, a few yards in from the left touch line. And an opportunity here for Aberdeen as Nicky Devlin tries to rouse the fans away behind the goal of Kasper Schmeichel, all in red, as Aberdeen look for a leveller here just beyond the hour mark. And Leighton Clarkson standing over this free kick is a definite chance, this Willie.
He's capable, Leighton Clarkson. His set pieces are usually pretty accurate. This is a great opportunity, and Papagay playing a big part, just carrying that ball into an area that Carter Vicker gives a free kick, and Clarkson got the opportunity now.
Here he is, right-footed, swings it in dangerously. It's over the top from Kevin Nisbet, and the assistant, is he given that as an offside or just a goal kick?
Just a goal kick.
But
it's a good ball.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad delivery at all from Leighton Clarkson, but Nisbet could do no more with it than just head it over the top from about 4 yards out, and the Aberdeen opportunity is gone. 63 almost played there at Hampden. Aberdeen trailing by 1-0 against Celtic. It was an Alfie Dorrington own goal in 39 minutes that is splitting the teams right now, as Jimmy Tilleen stands at the edge of his technical area looking to plot a way back into the game. Celtic have got themselves a free kick midway inside the Aberdeen half as McGregor went down. Yes. And Ida as well, actually. I'm not sure which it was given for, but either way it is a Celtic free kick.
Yeah, that little ball played in again from Scales into Adam Ida, and McGregor then just running off his marker. But the foul on Adam Ida, the referee given right away. It's too far out for a shot on target.
Triple change coming for Celtic, but not before this free kick is taken. It's taken back the way by McGregor to Carter Vickers, out to his right hand side. Kuhn now picks up, comes away from Devlin, threads it into the edge of the box. It's Bernardo. Can he get the pass off here to Engels? He can. It's Engels from the edge of the area, off the post. So unlucky for Engels. Mitov down to his right, couldn't reach it, but Engels denied by the upright, and Aberdeen breathe a huge sigh of relief. The danger not over though. Bernardo again involved. Maida on the spin, left foot shot straight at Mitov. 64 in, and it's still Aberdeen 0, Celtic 1.
Yeah, it was a good play from Celtic, just linking up and around the edge of the box. I was saying earlier that they were a bit overcomplicated and too many passes. This time it was clinical. In, back, shot off Engels, venting it round, almost round the defender, and the goalkeeper had no chance, just comes off the outside of the post. It was good, really good effort. Here's the changes coming.
Yeah, Forrest, McCowan and Yang are the players coming on. Nicholas Kuhn is making his way off. He's the first to be replaced. And other player coming off, well, that looks like it's Arne Engel's last act, as he is also replaced here. And Aramida is making his way to the touchline. His race has run not as much of an impact as last season's final. Nonetheless, if he's picking up a winner's medal at the end of the afternoon, he won't be too bothered. So 3 changes from Celtic, pretty common from Brendan Rodgers round about this juncture, and that will give them fresh legs, fresh impetus, as they look to see this one out.
Forrest has been flying in the last couple of weeks, hasn't he? You know, and he's obviously got the confidence of getting his goal last week, so he will make an impact. Maeda going through the middle gives him that pace in behind, of course, and I'm not sure who's going to play out. Oh, Yang is out on the left-hand side, sorry. Yeah, he's come on the pitch also, so like for like changes.
I mean, Forrest and Maeda, that's the two that would worry me if I was part of that Aberdeen defence. You know, Maeda is sharp, you know, Ida isn't that type of player, just totally different players, and Jane Forrest seems hungry.
Here's a Clarkson free kick though from the left-hand side. It's well won by Taylor inside his own box. Bernardo picks up, chests it down and then thumps it up to the halfway line. Jensen is there. First to it though is substitute Yang. He plays it back the way to Taylor. It's a wonderful moment, you have to say, almost regardless of who you support, to see James Forrest getting that goal. I'm sure St Mirren fans didn't really want him to get it, but to score a 16th goal in consecutive seasons is quite phenomenal. As Celtic come forward down the left-hand side, still leading by a goal to nil. 66 played here at Hampden. His game is not over yet. Celtic will want a second to give them that greater cushion. They're looking for it here as Yang picks up 25 from goal, just behind McCowan. McCowan manages to get it back to Yang, and now it's Bernardo back to Carter Vickers, now to the right-hand side to James Forrest. The most decorated Celtic player in on the left foot tries to get it to McCowan. He almost get it back into the path of Forrest. Aberdeen get it clear, and now they're coming forward, and they're 3-on-3. Can Nisbet pick the right pass here? He's got Jensen up with him out on the right hand side. Aberdeen trying to flood bodies into the box. Not a bad ball, and Scales slices it behind for a corner, and that gets the Aberdeen fans on their feet.
Good, that was a good ball in, but Scales had to go for it. That awkward height, really up round in between his chest and his knees, and he had to go, and he just could have easily went into the back of the net. But you got to give him credit for getting it in front of Nisbet and making sure he could get it. But it was a good play from Aberdeen, good breakout.
It's a good break. It's intent there, you know, and they've done it on a number of occasions. Yeah, it opens up the game a little bit, but you've got to have a threat going forward, and that certainly could have easily ended up in the back of his own net.
Midway point in the second half, in comes the corner, right hand side from Clarkson. Up goes Scales again and gets his head to it. Doesn't know where it's going. Knuster can't make anything of it, and it's easy for McCowan to pick up and try and release James Forrest left hand side. And now Celtic are 2-on-2 as they come forward. Forrest running it, Graham Shinney up to the edge of the box, finds it past to Yang. Yang just inside the box. Can he find the shooting opportunity? Closed down by Jensen, and it's blocked away out to this near side. Still Yang has it. Now it's Shinney that's with him. It's end to end just at the moment as Johnston picks up and plays it back to McGregor. Infield it goes to Scales. Scales gets it back from McCowan. So they're just slowing it down once more. Carter Vickers into the feet of Forrest, 25 yards from goal, right of centre, out to Johnston. Back to Forrest it comes. And now McGregor once more, but 30 yards out. Maeda just trying to link at the edge of the box. It's Johnston who takes the shot on. Knuster in the way, and it comes out to Carter Vickers. And now Forrest once more. Already a trophy ahead of Bobby Lennox. They can go too clear of him, and indeed stay too clear of Callum McGregor if they can hold on to the victory this afternoon. Still a bit of work to do though. 21 to play. Celtic leading by a goal to nil as it's all the way back to Schmeichel, who's midway inside his own half, out to Bernardo, and now Carter Vickers just inside his own half, plays it square to Scales. Scales stepping over the halfway line, gets it back again from McCowan. McCowan then bursts forward. Scales still in possession, doesn't use him. Instead he comes back to Carter Vickers inside the centre circle, and now it's Johnston. Johnston turns and plays it out to Forrest, midway inside the Aberdeen half. right hand side, picks the pass to McGregor's in a bit of space. Now Bernardo with a poor ball in straight at Mitov. He really should have done better. Maida was lurking, but he couldn't find him. Almost 70 played as down goes Jack Milner. I think with a bit of cramp, understandable given he's barely started all season. He's played 70 minutes on this huge Hampden surface, acquitted himself well, but it might be time for Christers Tobers, or indeed potentially a change of shape. He is going to need a bit of treatment here as he's gone down just outside his own 6-yard box. 70 on the clock. Aberdeen 0, Celtic 1.
Yeah, he'll be feeling it, Jack Milner. He's done awful well. Okay, he's involved in the goal, but hasn't had too many starts. He's young in terms of experience. This experience this afternoon will do him a world of good. But out there on the pitch, it's a huge pitch. It takes its toll as well. He's been worked pretty hard. It's not just the physical side of it which he's struggling with just now. It's the mental side too, the concentration that's required when you're under siege basically from Celtic. But Aberdeen have Christers Tobers on the bench, so he can easily come in and play in that position if he can't make it.
Jack Milne still getting some treatment from the Aberdeen medical team. Is it smelling salts? No, it's just an energy drink he's getting on board.
It's a horrible feeling when you get cramp, isn't it? You've still got 20.
How do you pack it?
20 minutes. I know from working really hard and training. But when you do, I get cramp now and I'm at my old age, and it's a horrible feeling when you get it.
Well, just under 20 to play here in the Scottish Cup final. Can Aberdeen find a goal that might force extra time, or can Celtic get another one to make it a little bit more comfortable for them? They haven't been under too much pressure, it has to be said, but well, it's at 1-0. There's always that threat of a breakaway as Gay goes up to win the ball above Liam Scales. Nisbet trying to get it back to him, might break for Clarkson inside the box. Some claims there from the Aberdeen fans of an infringement there. I didn't see anything myself as Celtic get it clear. Knister goes back to Mitov. Mitov slices it left-footed out of play for a Celtic throw-in, and it will be Alistair Johnston to take that midway inside the Aberdeen half. Gets it back from Forrest, then steps away nicely from Devlin, then goes down under the challenge of Clarkson, and Celtic get a free kick in a really good position right of centre, but just outside the penalty area. It's quickly taken by McGregor. Now it's Forrest into the box, comes back to McCowan, gets a shot in, Kruster in the way, and the effort from Dick Taylor just over the top, claims there was a touch, referee agrees, Celtic corner.
Yeah, a great block on the line, I've got to say, for Celtic. Get on with the game really quickly and put a couple of great balls in, and then ricochets, comes back to a couple of players, takes on the shot, and it was desperation and around the 6-yard box from Aberdeen, but they've got the block in, they've got the save in, and they keep it 1-0.
They got the bodies in front of it, which was one of the centre backs, I think, and Greg Taylor, the final strike with the left foot, it's always going over the bar, I would say, but they get some amount of power behind it. And again, when Celtic up the tempo and Aberdeen are kind of leaving more gaps than they were in the first half. Is it Dorrington that's down getting?
I think it's Milner again, is it?
I can't see from this area. It's one of the centre backs, Knuster, in fact. It's Knuster or Dorrington. It's one of the two of them, but they're up, they're good, and we're ready to play.
So here's the corner from McCowan, left-footed into the 6-yard box. It went an awful long way. Dorrington eventually got it clear. He's limping as he comes out of the penalty area, and Celtic pick up once more. 74 on the clock. Aberdeen 0, Celtic 1, given straight to Gay by McCowan, but he's done extremely well to get back and win that back. He had absolutely no right to win that back from Papa Gay, and he offers the hand of apology for the initial pass, but he gets the plaudits from the Celtic fans for having the tenacity and will to come back and win it from Gay, who should have probably done better having been gifted possession. Here's Forrest now, right hand side for Celtic. You have to imagine a second Celtic goal assures them of another cup triumph. Forrest then finding McCowan at the edge of the box, well challenged by Shinnie. He's then taken down himself by McGregor. That will be a free kick to Aberdeen midway inside their own half. But they need to be playing more of the game in the Celtic final third. which they've been unable to do thus far. It's roundabout now, Willie. You would have to imagine they are going to have to start committing more bodies forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have opened up, Al, in the second half. I think the gaps between the back five and the midfield and the front two, I think Papagay's made a big difference. You know, he is a target, and even if it's just like that last opportunity, a simple long ball and a flick on, you know, I think it disrupts Celtic, which they weren't disrupted in the first half. So, and it's much more a partnership, Papagay and Nisbet. You know, they're much more used to playing that. Keskinen is not used to playing as a number 9 or a number 10, and that was obvious in Paisley, and it was obvious the first half and into the second half here as well. I think Papagay's made a difference. Whether he'll go to the bench again and you know, look for the bag to come on, you know, I think you'd be tempted to keep Nisbet on because he's capable. He's capable of scoring.
Celtic have given it away in the middle of the park. Nisbet finds Clarkson. Back though comes McGregor to do the tidying up and knocks it back to Schmeichel. Aberdeen are preparing a couple of changes, but there's another sub being waved back. I thought I was going to say, I wonder if Shane Morris might get a run out. It's not really set up for him in the sense of the formation, but they could change that, of course, for the closing quarter of an hour. He has been effective. So effective coming off the bench. Actually, they ended up earning a starting spot for a good chunk of the season. Back on the bench this afternoon, but he's just got the shout, and so has the bag. It might be a change of mind because it looked like Polvara and Tobers were being readied, but could be a change of heart there on the Aberdeen bench. But it's Celtic in possession, left hand side, and it's Yang coming forward, finds Bernardo, back with Yang, 22 yards out, just slips it to McCowan back to Johnson. Out to Forrest, right hand side, just outside the penalty area. Now he's inside, trying to take on Devlin. Stands it up to the back post, it's just beyond Maida. Dorrington not taking any chances, nudges it behind for a corner. We've played 77 minutes almost. It's Aberdeen 0, Celtic 1.
James Forrest has made an impact since he's come on. You know, he's a real threat. You know, either way, outside, inside, and a final ball into the box, of course, is a critical one.
I think just leave him 1v1. I don't understand why midfield players want to go into the space that he wants to occupy, because he's so good at taking on defenders in a 1v1 situation.
Corner kick left hand side then for Celtic as their fans try to see them over the line, and it comes to the near post. It's Milne, I think, who got his head to it. Forrest picks up and gets it back to Bernardo. Forrest once more at the angle of the box. Clever ball for McGregor, left hand side of the box. He tries to flash it across goal, comes off Jensen for another corner. 77 played, still Celtic lead by a goal to 0.
Yeah, it's that period of the game where it looks like some of the Aberdeen defenders are getting really tired now. Really tired, they're stretching, they're getting cramp, and very difficult to keep your concentration.
Dabag and Polvara now are the players who are making their way to the edge of the technical area, ready to come on. In comes a corner from the left hand side. Mitov thought about trying to catch that and then realised he wasn't going to reach it. It was too much of a stretch, and then ended up clawing it away. He did well in the end, the Bulgarian keeper. And Morris is also going to come on, so it is going to be a triple change for Aberdeen with about 12 minutes left on the clock plus added on time.
I wonder will he go
to be made now.
Will he go to a back four now? That would be the question. Let's see the substitutions first.
Palaversa coming off, certainly. That's a straight swap in the middle of the park with Polvara coming on. Clarkson also making way as Dabag and Morris prepare to come on.
Yep, back four. No, it's not.
Kevin Nisbet is the other player.
Dorrington came running over as though it was Dorrington, but it's not. It's Kevin Nisbet that's been taken off. It'll be the two up top, the two kind of a more physical, strong strikers, Papagay and the bag.
Yeah, Dorrington is going off though.
Yeah.
For Morris.
So I'll go to a four.
With the bag, who got the extra time winner here against Hearts late in that extra time victory. There's the opportunity here again to make himself a hero. Anyone in red can make themselves a hero, potentially, but they need to start troubling Kasper Schmeichel in the closing 10 minutes or so. Seems to be a bit of confusion here. Palaversa, actually, having gone off, has been called back onto the field. I think he's gone off. I think it was a mistake in the terms of the numbers that were shown. Now the officials are all gathering together to deem whether Palaversa is going to be allowed to come back on. I mean, surely if there's a mix-up,
well,
he can come back on.
You need a full complement of players on the park, don't you? I don't know what's going on down there, and what the error was, but there seems to be an error because Aberdeen will get goalkeeper back 4.
Don Robertson's counting the Aberdeen players.
Yeah, with Palaversa coming back on, they've got 11 back on the field of play. It was a way to start it there with 10 men, Aberdeen only having 10 men.
Yeah, well, they took 4 off and put 3 on, which I think by anyone's calculations doesn't quite add up. Anyway, the farce
still a farce
is over.
Still a 3 at the back. It's a 5 actually at the back with 3 in midfield and the 2 up top.
Yeah, Polvara looks initially as if he's slotted in at the right centre back role. See how that potentially changes, but only 10 minutes left to play. Aberdeen need a goal to take this one into extra time. As it is, Celtic are going to claim their 43rd Scottish Cup this afternoon, their 3rd in a row. They are almost there, but not quite. It's a loose layoff there from Maida, and Brendan Rodgers will want to guard against any slack play in these closing stages as Daba gets it back to Palaversa, who got that reprieve, but he can't pick out a teammate, and it's out of play on this near side. And Aberdeen just need to find a bit of quality in these closing stages, as tired as the legs are. Just one last surge of energy.
The shape hasn't changed. It still is a back 5. Polvara going into to be one of the 3 centre backs.
Oh my word.
Gay picks up about 30 yards from goal, driving into the Celtic areas beyond Carter Vickers, who dives in. He's Gay kept that in just about, flashes it into the area. Scales gets something on it. Jensen tries to keep it alive. Here's Morris back to goal, almost forced out of the penalty area. Now it's Jensen once more, right hand side, picked up here by Polvara, looks for an option. He's 25 yards from goal. He's challenged well by Bernardo, and Celtic can almost break there, but Maida can't pick up, and it's a better spell this for Aberdeen as Gay picks up left hand side, comes infield away from Forrest, spins and comes back infield. Papagay just slips it to his right to Palaversa. Morris is hugging the touchline out right hand side, 15 yards from the byline. It's a brilliant ball, it's in! Kasper Schmeichel with an own goal. He tried to pull it away and he's only succeeded in diverting it into his own net, and there is absolute bedlam in the Aberdeen end. It is Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1.
Wow, Wally.
It's quite incredible, isn't it? I mean, Jayden Morris just on, and he does what he's good at. Jayden Morris, he looks as though he's going to the byline, but he whips the ball across the face of the goal. I'll let you speak about Kasper Schmeichel, but he's went out, he's tried to flick it with his right hand, and it's come off the hand and ended up in the back of the net. It was a great ball in from Boris, but it definitely goes down as an OG, and Jimmy Talene, with the changes he's made, kept the same shape. Has turned this game around.
I think he's trying to punch it away when he's come. He's never going to be able to hold it. It was a good ball, really good pace in the ball in between Scales and the goalkeeper and Carter Vickers, and our eyes can almost missed it. I don't know what he did actually when the ball comes in here. I'm just trying to look at it. Very indecisive. Like it's not. Did he misread it and it's gone under his body?
I think he's played it out and it's come off Carter Vickers.
No, it hasn't.
It hasn't. It's off the underside of his glove, I think, and it's somehow diverted into the back of the net. Again, it will be a second own goal of the game, this time in Aberdeen's favour, and without even having a shot on goal there, they have managed to claw their way back.
But it goes back to Bernardo, giving the ball away almost at the edge, probably about 25 yards out. Terrible passing. He's done it now twice, whether that's down to weariness, not having played games, just an awful pass, and put Aberdeen on the front foot. Absolutely.
Don Robertson coming across to the touchline to speak with I'm actually not sure.
I think it's something to do with the trouble.
Something to do with the fans over on the far side.
Yeah, but they look as if they're under control, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's probably a senior security person that Don Robertson was speaking to there. As the Aberdeen fans who have had the stewards in front of them ever since half-time, and they kind of flooded beyond the barricades there as that goal went in, and they now have to ensure that they're all back behind the perimeter. But well, emotions clearly high, and for the most part the Aberdeen fans celebrating that as they should. And the game has restarted. Kasper Schmeichel will have to put that out of his mind. 5 minutes to play. Is there a winner in 90 minutes? It's one apiece in this Scottish Cup final. Celtic will need to up the ante again here. It's Forrest out on the right hand side. Can Aberdeen at the very least see this out and into extra time? Celtic will want to kill it off. It's Carter Vickers back to the beleaguered Schmeichel, who's been first class virtually throughout his season. Yeah, it's just Celtic Park.
It's just a technical mistake for me. You know, he's come, tried to intercept the ball. He doesn't get his hands to it properly. He tries, I don't know whether he tried to knock it away first time, but it was an easy enough ball to come and actually take. He's dived low, and it's just a technical mistake.
Just a huge error, really, isn't it, from, you know, a top quality goalkeeper. Say, hey, but it's a good cross from Shane Morris. You know, brilliant cross. And then you're asking, can they defend it? You know, he's looking for one of his own men, doesn't find it, but Schmeichel puts it in his own goal.
Yang trying to get to the byline, comes off Jensen. I think it's a throw in that's been given down at the corner flag rather than the corner itself. Taylor takes quickly into Bernardo, back to Taylor, left hand side, almost down at the corner flag. Morris, who's had a brilliant impact since coming on, gets it forward to Gay. It came off McGregor last, and it'll be an Aberdeen throw in. There's trouble here for Nicky Devlin, who's also feeling the pace at the edge of his own box. And just trying to remind myself if I think they've got one sub they can still make here, Aberdeen, and they might have to do so. Here it would be potentially Jack McKenzie to come on, wouldn't it, after all his travails in the last week or so. And with his contract running out, what a way it would be to bow out if he could come on and try and help his side to a Scottish Cup victory. We'll get another angle there of the Schmeichel error, and it's just massively changed direction, going under his body and off the bottom of his hand, and well, it goes down as a huge mistake and really nothing more than that. And it's given Aberdeen a lifeline. They are one apiece with 2.5 minutes left of the 90. There'll be a fair old bit of added on time before we even think about extra time. It's still the throw-in has not been taken. I've seen a shot of Peter Schmeichel in the stands here. He won't be relishing that particular moment.
But that's the world of goalkeeping. You can do one mistake and it normally leads to either a goal or, you know, and that's, you can't make the mistake.
Another throw into Aberdeen over on the far side, more or less on the halfway line. Aberdeen right, down the flank it comes, looking for Davag. He can't get hold of it though, and Celtic pick up, but it's McGregor for Johnson, and their fans looking to rouse themselves and the team to get them over the line after it looked like they were pretty much cruising to victory. But as I mentioned, never quite over when it's 1-0, and so it has proved. 90 seconds of the 90 minutes to play. Sounds like there's going to be about 7 minutes added on as Yang tries to hit the byline. He's taken down here by Jensen. It's a crude challenge, and it'll be a free kick as Jensen now is the latest to pull his calf as he tries to ease a little bit of cramp, but it's a really good, it should have been a booking, I would have thought, but Don Robertson has just settled for the free kick. It's a free kick in a very good position, about 3 or 4 yards back from the goal line.
It's almost stop him at any. Oh, that is a booking all day long. Wow.
Got to agree with you.
What it does do is give Celtic a really good opportunity here to deliver a quality ball. It's Bernardo who's over it. It's a better angle than a corner as Bernardo swings it to the back post, but he's got far too much on it. Real disappointment for the Portuguese, and relief for the Aberdeen fans as Mackenzie is going to come on to replace Nicky Devlin for the final few minutes of regulation time, and then potentially extra time. And well, it's nice to see Jack Mackenzie is bearing the scars of that plastic seat he took to the face from an Aberdeen fan last week, and good to see him getting his moment here and being applauded on, much as Nicky Devlin is also out of contract actually, is being applauded off. And 7 minutes confirmed to be added on. Let's see who can make the most of that.
Indeed, it's been intriguing, hasn't it? Aberdeen much better in the second half, much more intent. Celtic still, for me, the tempo isn't high enough. They're not doing enough to disrupt Aberdeen at times as well. And Aberdeen deserve to get a bit of good fortune, some poor goalkeeping there. But you put Shayden Morris on. He is an impact sub. We know that. He's got pace. He's got directness. He can drill the ball across the face of the goal. Just make it difficult to defend, and on this occasions Michael couldn't defend it properly.
Here comes Scales coming forward from the back for Celtic, looking for an option. It plays it out to the right hand side where Forrest will pick up midway inside the Aberdeen half, right of centre, plays it back in field to McGregor, and then further to his left to Scales out to Yang left hand side, up against Jensen here. Coming in field, just pokes it into Bernardo inside the penalty area. Out back with McCowan. Forrest inside the box. Can he find room for the shot? Goes on the outside, tries to get it across goal. Knuster and Mackenzie doubling up there to make sure it goes behind.
Yeah, just the space was slightly open up for McCowan there. I thought he should have taken the shot on, but he elected to pass it to Forrest, and then eventually effort across was blocked.
Celtic take the corner short, come back to McGregor out to the right hand side to McCowan now for Johnston, right hand side, back comes Gay, shoulder charge, knocks Johnston down, sees it out for a goal kick, and seems to me Papa Gay is quite relishing this role of panto villain that he's adopted in the last couple of games.
Oh yes, he is.
Oh no, he's not.
But listen, he's a tall physical presence. You don't know what you're going to get from him sometimes, but he'll disrupt and he'll put himself about. He'll make it difficult for the opposition at both ends of the park, as you can see it there. He puts the body in to just calm the situation, but he's a disruptor at the other end of the park as well,
as he showed there with a shoulder charge on Alistair Johnston, which left the Canadian on the deck. Here comes Celtic. Maida, Maida's away, Maida's in behind. Can Maida finish it? Brilliant save from Mitov to deny him, and Shinnie gets it clear. He's taken down by Yang, and it'll be an Aberdeen free kick. That could and perhaps should have been the moment for Dyson Maida to finish it off, as Yang gets a yellow card for his challenge, and Graham Shinnie, that seemed maybe a bit harsh, but Dimitar Mitov coming up with a massive save to deny Dyson Maida.
Oh, the big moment right at the end of this game with another 5 minutes left. Big save from the goalkeeper. I thought Maeda did everything right. He won the challenge, got away, just opened up the goal. It's right through the middle. You can see it here. I'm just watching on the monitor here. He cuts across the defender, and then the goal comes out, spreads himself, and the timing of his movement off the line is a critical factor, and he just closes down the space, and then that big body he didn't quite connect properly, Maeda, with the ball, did he?
I think he needs to give it a bit of air, does he not? I think that's the target that he's got to hit rather than keeping it low.
Here's the bag at the other end, midway inside the Celtic half, knocks it back to Palaversa. Now it's Jensen, well advanced, out to the right hand side is Morris looking to get the better here of Greg Taylor, tries to hit the byline. Good challenge from Taylor at the expense of a corner. We are in the 4th minute of added on time, and those Aberdeen fans behind that goal sense that this could be their time. If Aberdeen can come up with a goal here, their name could go back on that Scottish Cup.
Again, it's Shayden Morris. He just terrorises full-backs there, and he does it with Greg Taylor. Greg Taylor does reasonably well to stop the cross coming in, but it's that corner has been given away at a crucial time. 94 plus minutes in the clock.
3 minutes of added on time left. The corner on the right hand side. What can Aberdeen produce here? And it comes onto the penalty spot. Knuster wins it. Aberdeen trying to make something of it. It's Polvara going back the way. Maida makes the challenge and now leads the counter-attack. It's Maida bursting forward up to the halfway line. Through 2 or 3 challenges. Still Celtic come. It's Forrest, left-hand side. Tries to dink it back through for Maida, but it's too close to the keeper. Well, the Celtic fans are howling because they want a free kick.
It's got to be a free kick, though, but because the game, moved on a couple of seconds, but you can pull it back. But it was Aberdeen was desperate to try and stop him.
Out to the right hand side, it's Aberdeen. It's Morris now coming forward for Aberdeen, up to the edge of the penalty area, plays it to Jensen. Jensen right hand side, it's going to be another corner off Taylor once more. It was claimed for handball against Greg Taylor. Looked to be, if it was his arm, it was right by his side. Certainly no penalty, but it will be a corner. There's a yellow card shown to goodness knows who in the middle of the park there.
I think it's Knuster. I don't know what for.
I think it was because of the foul on Maeda.
The attempt.
The attempt up here, and that's why I'm saying it should have probably pull it back, free kick, and then just move on. But he let the play go on.
So Aberdeen have another corner right hand side.
Another big opportunity right at the end of the game, last minute of the game.
Right hand side then, the Aberdeen corner. As we approach the final minute of the 7 added on, and it comes near post, a poor ball. McGregor's header only as far though as Morris helps it back in. It's got to be offside. It's over the top anyway from Jack Milne. The flag does go up, I think rightly against Knuster. We'll double check that in a moment, but he looked to be in an offside position as he chested it down for Milne, and it remains Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1 with less than a minute to play as Celtic come forward. Down the right hand side, Forrest can't get there. Mackenzie first to it, can only clear it as far as McCowan though. Luke McCowan into Maida, inside the area. What can he do here? Morris comes back. Bernardo for Taylor. Taylor sweeps it to the back post. James Forrest now. Final seconds of the 90 minutes plus added on time. It's Forrest back to McGregor. Is he the man? Blocked by Jack Milne. Terrific defending once more from the defender there. Almost 97 played as down goes Yang. No free kick is given. 4 on 3 now. If Aberdeen can shift this, can they come up with a moment of quality? No, they can't. Out of play on this near side. Poor pass forward, and we are heading for extra time as this Scottish Cup final has finished in dramatic fashion. Aberdeen trailing by a goal to nil after an own goal in the first half from Alfie Dorrington. Were a far bigger force, a far greater force in the second half, and eventually substitute Shayden Morris with a ball in from the right hand side, and the massive error from Kasper Schmeichel diverting the ball back into his own net gave Aberdeen the equaliser. Maida probably should have finished it in stoppage time, but denied by Mitov, ensuring us of another 30 minutes at the very least here at Hampden in the Scottish Cup final. At the end of 90 minutes, it's Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1.
Aberdeen versus Celtic. The Scottish Cup final on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland. This Wednesday night, the Key Sessions present Deacon Blue in concert.
Good evening, people of Edinburgh.
Hear timeless classics and brand new music taken from their incredible Usher Hall set. And afterwards, I'll be in conversation with the band's very own Ricky Ross. That's Deacon Blue on the Key Sessions with me, Roddy Hart. Wednesday night from 8.
Thank you.
On BBC Radio Scotland and Sounds.
You're listening to Sports Sound live from Hampden Park. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1. The Scottish Cup final is going to extra time. The players down below us here getting a pep talk from their managers, Tom English. I think what we saw in the latter stages of that second half there is why we love Scottish football. It was so dramatic.
It was so dramatic, but it was bonkers, right? It was just it was like watching a children's match. You know, everybody's charging around like lunatics. There was no shape to it. There was nobody was in control.
No problem, Tom. No problem with that. That's what we want.
Nobody knew what was going on. There was bodies everywhere. There were tackles flying in, balls passed. But I mean, it was just crazy stuff. Aberdeen's fitness levels, I have to say, astonishingly good, because they had to soak up an awful lot of pressure. I don't know how many Celtic crosses and shots they've blocked. They've defended brilliantly. They get lucky with the goal, Schmeichel's mishap, but Celtic got lucky with their goal. So they're one piece of good luck each at this stage. I think Celtic have been terrible with their use of the ball. Aberdeen have fought, and they're still in this game, and I didn't think they would be, so fair play to them.
No, none of us did, Willie Miller. I think it's fair to say you've got to give an awful lot of credit to Aberdeen.
None of us did.
At half-time.
Kenny, come on, you have to correct yourself.
The legend has gone 2-1 Dons. He's well on course here.
He was certainly very positive.
He's going to go up and get the trophy if it's 2-1 Dons.
You know, the important thing is it's been a brilliant second half, isn't it? I mean, it's been great. Yeah, Celtic have controlled the majority of the ball for the majority of the game, but you know, Aberdeen hanging in there in the first half, well organised defensively, disciplined as well, and then opening up in the second half. You know, the gaps between back five, mid three, front two, and putting on subs at the right time, impact subs. Papa Gay can make a difference up front. Even the bag, we know, has got that energy and that eye for a goal. And Shayden Morris, one trick pony, hit the byline and cross it in, and that's exactly what he did. And you know what, it ends up in the back of the net.
Strap yourselves in, here we go again.
Celtic will get us back underway at the start of extra time. Luke McCowan was back the way to Callum McGregor. Celtic going from right to left in the first period of extra time. What a piece it stands. Another half an hour guaranteed here. Who will emerge victorious at the end of all of this? Celtic enjoying the early possession in this extra time as Scales has it out to the left hand side to Taylor. Remember, both sides will get an additional substitute to make if they wish. Bernardo for Yang inside the box, good ball across goal. Oh my goodness, that was so close to ending up in the back of the net off Milne, who has been absolutely terrific throughout, and he's really feeling it out there.
Walk. You know, he can hardly walk, the young man, and that was that. He needed that bit of luck there, didn't he? He slides, he gets across to that near post area, comes off at a weird angle, but the height takes it over the crossbar.
Reads it well though.
Yep.
Here's Bernardo, left hand side, corner kick into the edge of the box. Liam Scales rises but knocks his header way over the top, and so with just over a minute of extra time played, it's still Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1. Quite an occasion this has been, and it's far from over yet.
No, listen, what we wanted was a competitive match too, didn't we? You know, we have that now. You know, there's 2 goals in it. Yes, there were lucky goals for both sides, but there was chances also in that closing period, and a lot of action, a lot of excitement, I could say, and that's what we want in a cup final.
Celtic have still got 3 subs they can make actually. Aberdeen just the one, I think. Yeah, just that additional one they get, having made 5 in the 90 minutes. Here's Polvara, right hand side. Looks like Tobers is getting ready to come on actually. He's still got a bib on, but he's otherwise fully stripped, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was Milne who's in possession here who would be replaced, because he looks absolutely out on his feet. Here's Morris though, right hand side, up to the Celtic penalty, just behind the bag, might come for Jensen. Good challenge in the edge of the box from Bernardo, who himself is feeling his hamstring. Now it's Forrest become very stretched. That's a really cynical foul there in the middle of the park from Palaversa, and a yellow card rightly sent in his direction as he took down James Forrest to stop that attack.
Yeah, cynical from Celtic's perspective, and also a good foul from Aberdeen's perspective, because Forrest was away, he was driving through the middle. And I'm worried for Bernardo. You know, he hasn't played many games, he's into extra time, he gave away those couple of balls, and that's down, probably maybe more down to decision making and tiredness. You know, decision making is affected from tiredness. I'm not sure, maybe Sloop could go in the middle of the pitch for them. He's played there before under Brendan Rodgers with Leicester, so he could be one that they could come on if he starts really struggling. He was stretching there a little bit just a minute or 2 ago.
On comes Tobers, as I mentioned, for Jack Milne. And Celtic get the game going once more. It's Johnston out to the right hand side to Forrest. 3.5 minutes of extra time played, still one apiece as it stood at the end of the 90. Scales plays it to Taylor, just about 15 yards inside the Aberdeen half. Aberdeen again just dropping everyone deep. Carter Vickers takes a wee bit of a chance there against the bag, but he gets the pass off to McGregor, and now it's Forrest. He tries to play it forward left footed, but too much on it for the run of Johnston. Tober sees it behind. It will be a goal kick to Aberdeen. What's the game plan now for Aberdeen, Willie? Do they try and continue playing as they did for the most part in that second half, which clearly got them greatest joy, or do they try and absorb a bit of pressure and give themselves a wee bit of a breather?
No, I think they continue to play the way that they've played since the changes have been made. James Forrest is down, by the way, over on the far side, needing a little bit of attention. We'll keep an eye on that one. But no, they've got the two strikers up front, two strong physical runners as well that can cause defences problems. They've got Morris, who we know he's got pace to burn, and if you get him 1v1 with anyone, with any fullback in the country, then he's going to beat them. He's going to take them for pace. So I don't think you can do much with Shane Morris other than hope that he can get on the ball from an Aberdeen point of view and cause problems down this right hand side. And I think the shape will stay the same, and as long as there's still one, has all the substitutes
Aberdeen have used all theirs now.
They're all used now, so I think they just stay the same way. I can't see them, Jimmy Killeen, getting on a message on that they're going to drop back and play the low block. I think it's just going to be that second half performance type where there's still five, but midfield players and two up top, and gaps in between them a little bit larger than what it was in the first half.
Well, that's a real shame for James Forrest. His cup final is over almost before it began, and he's been replaced by Johnny Kenny for the bulk of extra time. The young Irish forward who got his first Don's goal on his first start up at Pittodrie just a week or so ago, and he's on now to try and grab his side what might well prove to be a winning goal in this cup final.
Yeah, Maeda's moved back out to the left side, and obviously Yang's still on the right, so it's just the same shape, just a change of personnel.
He's looked pretty accomplished when we've seen him in a Celtic jersey this season, Johnny Kenny, as Liam Scales gives the ball away almost to Shane Morris, and then he turns the ball back to Schmeichel, and Morris will chase it, but Schmeichel's cool enough to get that back to Scales. Sloop's going to come on as well.
Yeah, the problem really now for players is just tiredness just creeps in, and mistakes eventually happen, and you don't want to be the fall guy, do you? Losing a cup final, that's for sure.
Celtic come forward down the right hand side. Here's Yang in the angle of the box, plays it into Kenny. He's well challenged, but it comes back to the edge of the box there for McCowan, who just took the snapshot, really instinctive effort, but straight down the throat of Mitov, and Aberdeen survive that particular attack. 96.5 played as Jeffrey Sloop prepares to come on. I wonder if that's just a straight swap for Greg Taylor, as it's launched over the halfway line by Mitov. The bag helps it forward. Scales beats Gay to it. The bag nods it down once more. Gay helps out to this right hand side. Morris nods it down. Jensen's got a good touch now for Gay. Gay about 25 yards from goal. Carter Vickers steps in. Don't think it was going to reach the bag anyway, but Celtic get it clear, but it's going to come back at them here. Morris just outside the box on the angle. Maida coming back to try and help out Bernardo. Still it's Morris down almost at the corner flag. Can he get the cross in? He's going to try and buy a corner, but he tried to play it off Maida, and Maida let it through his legs, and McGregor picks up instead, and Celtic can come away with possession. Johnston infield to the edge of the box to Carter Vickers, and now McCowan back out to the right for Johnston. 7.5 played in extra time, still one apiece as Yang tried to play that into Kenny, but the two were on a different wavelength there. Polvara's ball forward won't find Gay either. A little bit untidy just at the moment. Players left, right and centre are stretching off, trying to keep themselves supple for the closing stages, as Schlupp still waits to enter the fray. Scales has it just inside the Aberdeen half, plays it into his captain Callum McGregor. McGregor forward to McCowan. McCowan goes back the way to Scales. Scales bringing it forward, 20 yards or thereabouts into the Aberdeen half he comes. Just nudges it to his right to McGregor. McGregor then finds Johnston about 25 from goal. Out to the right hand side to Yang. Yang, as the sun threatens to come through the clouds here at Hampden, is a poor ball from Yang straight out of play, and it's going to be a goal kick to Aberdeen. They've played almost 9 minutes of extra time here, and it's still Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1.
Yeah, and the sun's breaking out at Hampden, Willie.
Sloop's going to come on in midfield by the looks of it for Bernardo.
Yeah, I thought that might happen. He can play in there. You know, he's done it effectively before. He's strong, he's physical. He can play, he can get on the ball. And whether I think he is going in there, as Greg Taylor is going in there, and he's going to go into left back.
Yeah, well, Greg Taylor effectively plays in midfield for much of the time anyway, so he should be able to adapt to that pretty comfortably. But Bernardo makes way for Jeffrey Sloop, man on loan from Crystal Palace, who of course won the FA Cup for the first time in their history this season. Here comes Celtic bursting forward. It's McCowan helping it on to Kenny. Kenny will chase that, and he's kept it in over on the far side. Good energy from the substitute to do that. Just over 5 minutes left in this first period of extra time. One each it stands between Aberdeen and Celtic. It's been a really riveting cup final this. Aberdeen making it a good contest in the second half and getting the goal to take it into this extra period as Scales plays it square to Carter Vickers, and now it's Johnston out to the right hand side to Yang, up against McKenzie. Infield he comes, away from the bag as well, finds Callum McGregor, 25 from goal. He's going to try and curl it. It's just off target from the Celtic captain. He puts his head in his hands, which suggests it was pretty close. He's been a menace from that kind of range all season. Not that time though.
Yeah, he just turned and hit it. He didn't really have time maybe to weigh it up to see, get accuracy, but it was a good effort. But well, you mentioned already, Yang picks the ball up on the right hand side, and the midfielder runs into the space that he could be going and taking on, tired full-backs, wing-backs, and he cuts inside, and he never gets a chance to go to the line.
Yeah, I think it happens with both teams, where a midfield player will go and occupy the space that the wide player wants to take on the full-back, and I don't see why they do it. If you can isolate and have a 1v1 situation, and you've got a player that's got pace like Yang, then allow him to go and take on that wing back or full back.
Yeah, and you can do it, but not all the time. And that's what they're doing. Celtic, they're kind of, Ingles would do it. Obviously Johnson does it as an underlapping full back. Obviously McCowan is doing it now in that position, and let him go 1v1, and then the next time he can make that run if it's not happening for him.
Palaversa was the latest player to be treated for cramp there, but he's back up, and Aberdeen take the throw-in over on the far side, and it's back with Mitov just outside his penalty area. It's a good game, Mitov, when called upon. Not much he could have done about the goal. He's sent it all the way through to his opposite number, Kasper Schmeichel, there with about 3 minutes left in the first period of extra time. It's Carter Vickers out to Johnston on the halfway line on the right hand side, bringing it forward out to Yang, hugging the touchline. Back it goes to Carter Vickers. No real big chances, you'd have to say, so far in extra time. Scales plays it into Taylor there. Taylor gets it back from McGregor. Into Sloop it goes. Sloop back out to Taylor, left hand side. Good challenge from Morris though to knock it out of play. It will be a Celtic throw in, about 25 yards from the corner flag as they come down the left hand side, and Sloop's taking it into Taylor and got it back then to Scales. Scales plays it square to Carter Vickers, midway inside the Aberdeen half, up to Kenny. Kenny lays it off for McGregor. Now it's Taylor out to Sloop, just inside the box, left hand side, slips it back for Taylor. Taylor tries to squeeze it across the box. It's Polvara, beg your pardon, who's in the way at the near post. It's behind for a corner, Celtic corner. 13 minutes of extra time played, still 1-0.
Yeah, I think from a Celtic point of view, good sharp build up there, intricate passing, but with intent to get to the byline and winning that corner. And from an Aberdeen point of view, it's just about concentration. You've got to make sure that you're on your toes, concentrating and making sure that you're picking up men in that box.
McCowan with the outswinger here then, left-footed, left-hand side, and it comes, it's over Scales, who's going to break to. It's hacked away by Polvara, and McGregor will pick up left-hand side. Knocks it back to Johnston. A couple of minutes remaining in this first half of extra time. 1-1 at Hampden in the Scottish Cup final. As McCowan plays it back to Scales. If Celtic are to lift the treble, it'll be a hard-fought way to do it.
That's what it should be in a cup final. You have to earn it. There's no easy games.
Sloop gets it back to Scales, midway inside the Aberdeen half. Aberdeen with everyone behind the ball once again. The back comes across and tries to close down McGregor. McGregor still has it, middle of the park. Out to Maida it comes. A minute left in the first half of extra time. Maida plays it back the way to Scales. Scales for Carter Vickers, closed down by DeBag, but gets the pass off to Johnston. Johnston on to McCowan, a little slip there, tries to get the pass forward. Knuster in the way though, and he'll come forward on that left hand side, tries to bundle his way past Luke McCowan, goes down, gets himself a free kick. It's a bit debatable from this distance, but Aberdeen get the decision right on the touchline left hand side. 30 seconds left in this first half. Still Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1.
I would say he was hoping for that. Knuster McCowan getting a little bit closer to him, and the legs going and just getting the free kick at this stage of the game. Absolutely the right thing to do.
It's Knuster himself who takes a free kick up to the edge of the box. Scales gets his head to it, helped on by Taylor. Comes to Yang. Yang plays it forward, but first in there was Tobers. Johnston helps it forward. Celtic pick up on the right hand side. Have they got time to mount one final attack? It's McCowan right hand side, plays it forward for Yang. There's 2 minutes of added on time, so yes, they do have time to try and get it forward. It's going to go out for a throw in to Celtic, about 15 yards from the corner flag right hand side. It's taken back the way to Carter Vickers. Plenty of time to think about his next move. It's out to McCowan, back into McGregor. Celtic trying to get their noses back in front. It's Scales to Schlupp, about 30 yards from goal, comes up to the edge of the box. Out to Maida it goes. Maida who passed up that opportunity in injury time to win it for Celtic. Here he is once more, left hand side of the box, back to Schlupp. And now Scales, closed down by Gabe. He steps away deftly from him. Now Morris comes out to meet him, and Scales can't get it beyond him. It's off Morris for a throw in. We've got a minute left of added on time in first half of extra time, and the score is as it was at the end of the 90 minutes. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1. But here comes Celtic again. It's Yang, down the right it goes for McCowan. Knuster comes across on the cover, just trying to see it out. McCowan claims it should be a corner, but Knuster gets the decision, and it's a goal kick to Aberdeen, and it's still Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1.
That's that same run again, obviously Johnson, but Knuster, reading it, getting there, blocking him off, and just struggled a little bit. Mitov is now stretching his hamstring, Wally.
A goalkeeper stretching their hamstring. Well, what's the world coming to?
Mitov in no great hurry over this goal kick. It looks like we're going to go into the second half of extra time at one apiece, with just a few seconds remaining of this first period. No further goals since the end of the 90 minutes as Mitov goes long, looking for Gay up against Scales. Scales does well, comes to McGregor, and now it's Johnston forward. It's a loose pass, but it is half time as Gay has stayed down after that aerial challenge with Liam Scales. He's just slowly getting back to his feet, but it's as you were at the end of the 90 minutes. No great chances, you would have to say, in that first period of extra time. And I'll just hand you back briefly again to our host, Kenny McIntyre.
Thank you to Alistair Lamont. Very tense here at the National Stadium. A reminder, more cup final action for you tomorrow. The Women's Scottish Cup final, Glasgow City against Rangers. We kick off at 1:30 on Sports, and before that, off the ball as usual from midday. Tom English, what have you made there? It's been quite edgy, quite tense. Not really a lot to talk about in that first period of extra time.
No, it's incredible nervousness out there from both sides. Misplaced passes. Again, McCowan had a shot straight at Mitov. McGregor fired one over. Celtic are the ones again on the front foot, but their quality isn't good enough. Their quality isn't good enough to break through what has been an astonishingly resolute Aberdeen defence. They're covering the ground. They're getting back into position so quickly. They're putting their bodies in the way. Anytime Celtic get it, there's normally 3 and 4 Aberdeen men around them. So their work rate is, I mean, it's world-class work rate. The game isn't world-class, far from it. But Aberdeen are defying all the doubters here with their just mental toughness. You know, I mean, these guys had the mental resolve of a blancmange for half the season, and now look at them. I mean, they look like a serious team in terms of that grit and determination.
You know, you speak of the tension. We've got a lot of Celtic fans around us here. I think they're all looking very tense and nervous when we are seated here in the gantry. It's been a really fascinating, certainly since half time. That second half was, at the end, as Tom said, it was absolutely bonkers. It was end to end. It was terrific stuff. Aberdeen got the equaliser thanks to that horrendous mistake from Kasper Schmeichel. Not much to talk about in the first period of extra time. 15 minutes to go here at the National Stadium. We could have a penalty shootout. So stay tuned for all the action right here from the National Stadium and Sports Sound. This is Scottish Cup final. Back to Alistair Lamont.
Thanks, Kenny. Aberdeen will get us off and running again. Although how much running will actually be done in this second period of extra time is questionable. The players, especially those who started the game, of course, have really been running on empty for a period. Might well come down to that fitness in the end. A mistake perhaps coming as a result of tiredness, or maybe, just maybe, a moment of real quality to clinch the cup final victory for one of these sides. It's back with Polvara, who is playing at right centre back. An unfamiliar role for him as Morris makes up great ground and Sloop has to make a despairing challenge to prevent him getting away from him and concedes the corner. But I mean, Shayden Morris, we know he's fast. I mean, he must have made up, what, 2 or 3 yards there? Incredible stuff.
I tell you what, Sloop had to make the tackle. He went to ground and he had to make the tackle. He was stretching, otherwise he was in.
He's a weapon, Shayden Morris. See, when you bring him on and he's got that impact and he gets a bit of space and he's got that determination, and if he gets it, a little bit of room like that, and he had no right to get to that ball before Sloop, and he just kind of glided past him, and Sloop, desperate challenge, stretching all the way eventually.
Palaversa then from the right hand side with a corner kick, out swinger towards Knuster. It's Gay that wins it, smashed towards goal by Polvara, and it's only a half a yard over the top. What a volley that was from the American, but over the top, and it's still one apiece.
Yeah, Celtic struggling to win the first ball and ends up coming down, and just he didn't get his body over the ball, and he was in a great position, nobody round about him, just to make good contact.
Great connection on it, didn't he? And had it been on target, I'm not sure Schmeichel would have been able to react in time.
Difficult one though to take though, you know, that coming out of the air, but he's capable. You know, Polvara, he's got a lot of ability. You know, playing in an unusual position for him, as far as I know anyway. I don't know his total history, but normally a midfield player, doing an excellent job at the back.
Yeah, no, he is, as far as I'm aware, certainly pretty much been a midfielder all his days, certainly signed as one, but needs must for Aberdeen this afternoon as they have a throw in on the left hand side. It just comes off Gay, who's claiming he was being held and unable to bring the ball under control, but Don Robertson not interested. Alistair Johnston takes the throw in back the way to Carter Vickers. Still 1-1, 17.5 minutes of extra time have come and gone. Penalties becoming an ever-increasing possibility here as McCowan though picks up and knocks it to Taylor. Here's McGregor, brilliantly blocked by Polvara. Sloop off the bar! What an effort from Jeffrey Sloop, still in play. Yang knows it back into the danger area and knocked away by Tobers in there, but Jeffrey Sloop, what an effort off the top of the crossbar.
Yeah, first and foremost it was McGregor getting into that position we know that he loves getting into, and it was a brilliant block. Comes back to Sloop then and he just hits it first time, and I'm thinking this could be either on target or miles over the crossbar, and he got it perfectly, and it just comes off the crossbar. Great effort.
McCowan, his attempts to get the ball back into the area are thwarted. Gay comes forward, he's fouled Yang though. Celtic get the free kick. Gay preventing that being taken quickly. McCowan is going to just move the ball and play it round them, which is sensible enough, and Celtic get it moving once more, looking for a potential winning goal here in the closing just over 10 minutes at Hampden. Carter Vickers steps forward. Out to his right hand side is Yang, about 15 yards from the goal line, up against Mackenzie here. Good challenge from Mackenzie, wins possession, fires it forwards. No Aberdeen players really close enough to do anything with it though, and McGregor though on the stretch wins the 50-50. Has been penalised there for that challenge. Don't think that was a free kick in all honesty, but he was on the stretch. Aberdeen get the decision. It will be a free kick to Aberdeen.
It kind of looks now as if you can't put a sliding tackle in the modern game, because there was nothing untoward in that one. I thought he lost it, of course, but won the ball back. But anyway, the referee gives us a free kick to Aberdeen. The sun is shining now down on top of the players to make it a little bit more warmer for them, more intense.
It's shining on that silverware, isn't it? Where's it going to go? That's the question.
A bit more like a Scottish Cup final afternoon now, with the sun coming through the clouds. As Knuster launches it long, Scales heads it down, but only to the back. He can't get past Carter Vickers, and Schlupp hooks it over his head and out for a throw-in over on the far side. The Aberdeen fans rise again to try and urge their team on here. Midway inside the Celtic half as the throw-in is taken back the way. Tovers it to his left to Knuster, who'll just help it forward. Jensen will give chase. He was pulled back there, but Scales picks up possession. Gay goes across to make the challenge. Taylor picks up and is going to come back for a foul by Gay. And now the Celtic fans unhappy that the advantage wasn't played. Don Robertson can't win here. He blows up for the foul and they complain about that. He plays the advantage and they're not happy with that. Anyway, the free kick's taken out to the right hand side to Johnston. Here's Yang, right hand side. Midway inside the Aberdeen half, gets it back from Johnston. Into Carter Vickers it goes. Short ball to Taylor. Taylor for Scales. Scales steps forward. Midway inside that Aberdeen half, clips it in. Good ball looking for Yang, but Knuster was first to it. Comes out to Johnston, right hand side of the box. Sends it back. It's a really good ball. Johnny Kenny was in there, but he sends his header well wide of target. Aberdeen goal kick. 21 played in extra time. It's Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1.
Oh, I thought he just should have done better, the young man. He's got into a great position. He was up high, just didn't hold his body in a position that he could get that header on target. I'm just looking at it here, back on the replay. It's a good cross in. Yeah, just comes off the side of his head and goes by the far post.
7.5 or 8.5, I beg your pardon, minutes to play as Mitov is being urged to get a move on. I mean, I can't imagine Aberdeen are desperate for penalties. I imagine they would rather play the game and try and win it in extra time if they possibly can.
50-50 though, that's the thing, you know, it's about your nerve then, and penalties, not easy.
Here's Carter Vickers picking up just inside his own half, plays it out to the right hand side to Johnston. Johnston out to Yang on the touchline here, tries to get the better of Mackenzie. Mackenzie does enough and helps the ball to Dabag. Carter Vickers slides in and gets there before Gay. Aberdeen pick up though, it's Shinnie midway inside his own half, back to Knuster into the midfield to Palaversan, out to Mackenzie. Good composed football that from Aberdeen. Mackenzie hoists it forward. Scales gets the header, but he wasn't talking to Schlupp, or he wasn't listening. And Aberdeen pick up. It's Papa Gay goes for goal straight into the arms of Kasper Schmeichel from 15 yards. That was a chance, maybe the chance for Papa Gay, but he couldn't get the better of Schmeichel. 23 almost played in extra time, still 1-0.
Oh, it's a huge chance, isn't it? You know, poorly executed. You can see what he's trying to do with the right foot. He's trying to curl it beyond Schmeichel and goal, but doesn't get enough pace on it, doesn't get enough width on it. It's pretty much straight at the Celtic goalkeeper, and it's an easy take. But another good opportunity for Aberdeen. They're still creating chances, even though Celtic still having the majority of possession, but Aberdeen looking dangerous on the counter.
Celtic have it at the back. I say at the back, it's well inside the Aberdeen half, but their furthest player, outfield player back, Carter Vickers, plays it square to Scales. 6.5 left to play of extra time, plus any additional, and then we are into penalties unless there's a winner. Here's Yang at the edge of the box. Johnson's with him, just touches it to him, back to Yang. Yang infield to McGregor, 25 yards from goal, plays it square to Scales. Is he going to take the shot on? No, he leaves it to Schlupp instead. Schlupp at the edge of the box, into the area it comes. Kenny can't make anything of it. Now Carter Vickers about 30 yards from goal. Scales once more and Schlupp again, going back the way. Scales will play it out to Johnston. Johnston on the right hand side, up to the angle of the box, then stands it up to the back post. Looks like he's put too much on it. Maida will go and keep that in though. Down at the corner flag, back to Schlupp it goes. Morris forcing him back the way, but Scales has it, and now it's Carter Vickers. Is there a moment of class left in this Scottish Cup final to win it for either Celtic or Aberdeen? It's Schlupp out to Maida. Maida with 33 goals for the season, scored in every single round of this competition so far. 7 to his name all told in the Scottish Cup. Will he have the last say? There's Johnston now out to the right hand side for Yang on the angle of the box once more, plays it short to McCowan. McCowan left footed back to Callum McGregor, infield for Scales. Celtic trying to work the opening. It's Schlupp, lifts it back into the area. It's Knuster going up to win that one. Aberdeen looking for a free kick, it's not forthcoming. Yang was waiting on that being given as well. Mackenzie's first to it, knocks it out of play. Celtic throwing is the decision. There is a check for a potential penalty going on here. Well, Luke McCowan is making his protest to Don Robertson. I didn't see what it was for.
It was for a push.
Yeah, it can only be for a push, I think, in the box as that cross comes in. We'll might get an opportunity to see it. I don't see anything.
Yeah, it's just, I'm trying to say, it's Mackenzie. Just, you can see it here.
Yeah, the check's over. No penalty. Celtic will continue. Just under 5 to play. 1-1 it stands between Aberdeen and Celtic. Luke McCowan now, right hand side, knocks it back to Yang. Celtic still looking for that opening that might yet win it for them. Aberdeen, I think if they're going to win it, it'll have to be on the counter, or indeed on penalties, which the possibility of which growing ever larger. Here's Carter Vickers, midway inside the Aberdeen half. Aberdeen again pulling everyone behind the ball, desperately trying to keep Celtic out. Left hand side, it's Taylor, tries to cut it back for Schlupp. Morris is there, he'll just content himself with, he'll put it up to the halfway line. DeBag gives chase, Carter Vickers there first, and DeBag waving his teammates up as the ball's directed back to Kasper Schmeichel. 3.5 minutes of the additional 30 minutes we've had still to play. It's Callum McGregor out to the right hand side to Yang, back the way to Johnson, and back in field to his captain Callum McGregor, 10 yards inside Aberdeen territory. It's Scales for Schlupp. Again, Celtic remaining patient. Can they find the opening in that well organised, well drilled Aberdeen back line, who have held firm just about all afternoon? It's a good run from McGregor, bundling his way through a couple of challenges. Still left hand side, he has it, back to Schlupp. Now Scales into the feet of McCowan. McGregor once more at the edge of the box, slides it forward. Taylor keeps it out to Schlupp. Schlupp swings it in. Knuster's there with a clearance and then helped away by Polvara, but Schlupp has tried to play it back in field. He's only given it to Gay. Gay will try and get Aberdeen up the park. Now, can he test Carter Vickers for pace? No, he's knocked it too far ahead of him. Don't think he would have had the beating of Carter Vickers there anyway, as the Celtic fans now urge their side forward once more. 2.5 to play. 1-1 it stands. Yang will just about keep that in play, about 30 yards from the Aberdeen goal. Now it's McCowan into the feet of Kenny, tries a little flick, doesn't come off all the way through to Mitov, who will take his time here inside his 6-yard box. 1 additional minute, sounds like it's going to be played. We've got 2 of regulation plus that minute, so 3 in total. Otherwise we're heading to penalties, reminiscent of 1990 Packy.
Oh, I knew you were going to say it. I knew you were going to say it.
Willie watched that one from the stands, didn't you? You were injured for that one. Otherwise you'd have settled it in the 90 minutes, I'm sure. That was obviously the last time Aberdeen won the Cup. It was also the end of a real period of dominance. It was their 5th in 9 seasons at that time. I'm sure if you told any Aberdeen fan that day it was the last time they were going to win it, until now, they would not have believed you. Can they end that run today, or will it be Celtic once again? By far and away the record holders in terms of Scottish Cup triumphs. So here they are coming forward through Yang. Yang's just put too much on that, but Gay hasn't managed to win possession, and now it's Taylor picking up on the right hand side, plays it to Yang. This is a chance. Yang's made a real hash of that, tried to, I think, fire it across the face of goal. Instead he sliced it high and wide. A real opening there for Celtic in the final minute of extra time, but still it's Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1.
He's got to do much better. I mean, everything that he's done, really, Yang has been, he's made the wrong decisions, he's made the wrong pass, and on that occasion there, it's just an awful effort to cross it. He's in a great position as well, just drive it across the face of the goal, leans away back, puts it well over the bar, and Aberdeen are settled for it, haven't they? The legs have gone a little bit. They put a lot into the game. Celtic have had the majority of possession. Aberdeen have been chasing balls most of the time, but it's been a really good second half and into extra time. But it looks as though Aberdeen are settling for the penalties.
McGregor heads it forward. Tobers has to turn and roll that back to Mitov, who's closed down by Mairaby. Gets the ball clear with the left foot. Gay fouling Johnston there on the halfway line. It'll be a Celtic free kick with a minute of added on time. And we are into that now. 60 seconds for either of these sides to find a winner, or else we're into penalties. It's Celtic in possession and looking the likelier side to win it, if either are going to do so before penalties are required. It's Johnston forward for McCowan, challenged by McKenzie. Still McCowan has it right hand side. McGregor back to Scales. Is there last minute drama here as there was last season? It's Schlupp has to slide in to keep it, and he manages to do so. Scales for McGregor. McGregor for Carter Vickers. Just overruns it, but gets it to McCowan. McCowan from 22 yards. Spins out to the right hand side. It's Johnston. Is there a late winner here? It's flicked on by Carter Vickers. Out comes Mitov. He grabs it and dives to the ground. And surely now we are heading for spot kicks to decide this Scottish Cup final of 2025. It has been gripping, enthralling, and it is going to go all the way to penalty kicks. It is finished at Hampden. Aberdeen 1, Celtic 1.
Aberdeen versus Celtic. The Scottish Cup final on Sportsound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Yes, the Scottish Cup final is going to a penalty shootout. The players down below us here just getting themselves organised. I'm sure they've already decided who will be taking them. So much pressure on both sets of players here. The second half and that extra time there, Tom English, was absolutely sensational. I have to say, I just loved it.
Yeah, it's the tension is incredible, isn't it? The Schlupp chance, brilliant shot off the crossbar. Pat McGay, huge chance straight at Kasper Schmeichel, is end to end. I mean, I'm kind of smiling my way through this because it's such an improbable scenario, one that I did not see come. I did not see Aberdeen defending with this quality for so long in a game, and I did not see for a second Celtic being so wasteful. I mean, Yang has been appalling.
Yeah, he's been
terrible. He's
given
the ball away non-stop. Aberdeen getting bodies in the way of everything. It's been so courageous from them, and their energy levels. I said it earlier on. Their energy levels are just astonishing. This is one very, very fit team because they haven't wavered. Even when you looked at various points, like they're tiring now. Celtic are getting top, but then they find another wind, and it's just. I'm blown away by Aberdeen. It's the most ridiculous cup final. I mean, it's massively entertaining, but it's just ridiculous.
Ridiculous is a good word, Pat Bonner. From a goalkeeper's perspective now, they'll know, won't they, where the players usually go. They'll have a list, won't they?
Well, they have for the ones who are normally taking the penalties, but that's the problem. I go back to 1990. I went the one right away for the first penalty, and it was Jim Bett.
He's having a wee laugh.
No, but it was Jim Bett. He was a normal penalty guy. I didn't have a clue where the rest of them were going. Ollie McLeish never had a penalty probably in his life. Brian Irvin, what the man? He scored the winning goal. Oh my God! So there's luck involved here. You try to read it from a point of view of when they come up to the ball and what they're going to do. Now you have a better idea now. I think after it's all over what the way I would go. But during it, you're just trying to find maybe a chink in the armour of the guy that's taking it more so than anything else. The goalkeeper can be the hero. The guy that's taken it, unfortunately, can be the guy that's going to lose it, unfortunately, for the opposition. Tiredness also is a big factor.
Stats on our live coverage and online, Packy. Dimitar Mitov, in terms of penalty saves, saved 3 and let in 20. Kasper Schmeichel has saved 26 and has let in 93.
93. Well, I would love to go back to my record. I had a good record, not in penalty shootouts, but during games.
That's not about you.
During games.
It's not about you today, Pat.
In all fairness, Packy, it's not about you anymore.
It's not about me. It's not about me.
Well, I'm thinking of both these managers here today. Brendan Rodgers looks at history, the first Celtic manager to get 3 trebles. And for Jimmy Tulleen, he writes himself into the history books here today.
He does, yeah. As Aberdeen's little bit of history, it's been so long since they've lifted the trophy as well. And what it does, Kenny, and I said this to Jimmy in my magnificent interview that you've seen. Don't you laugh?
That was great. It was very good.
And I said that to him. I says, you and the chairman have got long-term plans. Long-term plans in football are difficult. But if you've got a trophy sitting in the boardroom, then that gives you that freedom, that time to convince the Aberdeen fans that he's the right man. The chairman's convinced he's the right man. This season's been unpredictable. He's still got a work to do, but if he gets that trophy this afternoon, that will give him time.
They should get a camera on Dave Cormack for this penalty shootout. That would make good viewing. Right, over to you, Alistair Lamont.
Thanks, Kenny. The penalties will be taken at the Celtic end, and Callum McGregor, who clearly won that coin toss, is going to take the first penalty. It is he against Dimitar Mitov. Callum McGregor taking the responsibility on of that first penalty, and the Aberdeen fans from a distance try and influence this, as the Celtic fans at this end and to our right hand side try to suck this ball into the net. Celtic, having beaten Rangers in the League Cup final on penalties, can they do so again in the Scottish Cup? It's McGregor, saved by Mitov, away to his right. Callum McGregor holds his head in his hands, but it is first blood to Aberdeen in the penalty shootout.
Yeah, it was a good save. Good save. You read it, as I said. You kind of trying to read the taker. He's almost showed him where he was going to put it there. I think Callum. He went for a little bit of pace. It was a nice height for Mitov, and he's got the spring and the dive, and he puts keeps that ball out of the net. You don't have to catch it. You don't have to do anything. All you've got to do is keep it out of the net.
Graham Shinney, the Aberdeen captain, will take the first Aberdeen penalty up. He steps into the roof of the net, and Aberdeen have the advantage. It's 1-0.
What a strike that was, wasn't it? For a moment there I thought it was going over the bar. I must admit, it that much height on it. Left foot, he just drilled it. Kasper Schmeichel going the wrong way to his left, and Shinney putting it to his left, and it nestles in the back of the net, high up. Wonderful penalty.
Johnny Kenny, is it? It's stepping up next for Celtic. The young man taking a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. 21 years of age. He's come into the first team squad this season, and he's got a big moment ahead of him here. Up he steps, right-footed. Johnny Kenny scores for Celtic. It's one apiece.
Well, that's bravery for the young man, isn't it? Hasn't played many games at all, coming over and making a name for himself, and slots the penalty away with the goalkeeper going the wrong way.
Dante Polvara, another substitute. I noticed Kasper Schmeichel was doing this in the League Cup final penalty shootout as well, just coming off his line, just trying to slow things down, a little bit of gamesmanship. And he's slowly making his way back to his line with his arms spread as Polvara steps up. Another right footer. Polvara slots it in, sends Schmeichel the wrong way. It's 2-1 Aberdeen.
Really cool and calm from Dante Polvara. Been out this season for such a long time with injury. He's slapping that jersey, he's slapping that badge, isn't he? It's low. Again, Schmeichel goes the wrong way and it ends up the back of the net.
Luke McCowan will take the third Celtic penalty. 2-1 it stands to Aberdeen with 2 apiece taken. Luke McCowan needs to score here. Left-footed, Luke McCowan into the back of the net it goes, and 2-2 it stands as Luke McCowan sends Mitov the wrong way.
Yeah, it's amazing. All the penalties to score so far, the goalkeeper's gone the right way, or the wrong way, sorry. And the one that he saved, he goes the right way. But he just waited there just for the goalkeeper to slightly commit, maybe a second too early, and then just slots it into the corner.
Up steps Ori Dabag, whose goal brought Aberdeen here. The semi-final extra time victory clinched by the Palestinian. And he has a chance now to put Aberdeen 3-2 in front. As up he steps, left-footed into the top corner. Another brilliant penalty from Dabag, and Aberdeen continue with the advantage.
Sensational, absolutely sensational. The left foot strike, very similar to Graham Shinney's. He puts it high into the roof of the net. He's given Schmeichel no chance whatsoever.
It's always one of them, you open up your foot and you just hope that the net shakes, that it hasn't gone a little bit too high, but it's up top corner and goalkeeper's no chance.
Daisen Maeda, Celtic's top man over the course of the season, player of the year in Scotland against Dimitar Mitov. Oh, he's managed to smash it through the goalkeeper, who got a big hand to it but couldn't keep it out, and it is 3-3.
Oh my word, that was one where the goalkeeper, I think, probably look back on it. If it doesn't go their way, he should have saved it, because he went for power. He's gone the right way and it's almost gone through his hands. When I look at it, it's amazing. He makes absolutely gets 2 hands to it, and he can almost parries it into the side net.
He's palmed it in, isn't he? I mean, it's right at him. I think he's dived, and he's actually dived too much, and he's trying to adjust his hands to get back in close to his chest, and he's just deflected into the back of the net.
Ante Palaversa to put Aberdeen back in front in the shootout. The Croatian midfielder. Up he steps and scores, and it's another fabulous penalty into that same top corner. Aberdeen 4-3 up with a penalty apiece still to take, and Alistair Johnston absolutely has to score this.
What a good penalty, Willie.
Oh, sensational, Becky, absolutely sensational. It's the same side as the previous two that were hit high into the bag and Graham Shinney and Palaversa, cool and calm, and he just whips it, takes a shot, little run up with the right foot, whips it into that top corner. Fantastic.
Alistair Johnston with a massive moment here for Celtic. If he misses, Aberdeen are cup holders, cup winners. Here he is, Alistair Johnston is saved! Aberdeen have won the Scottish Cup. That is sensational. 35 years of hurt are at an end. Aberdeen have done it. They have stopped the treble. Celtic cannot believe it. Alistair Johnston denied. Dimitar Mitov is the hero. What an afternoon. What an occasion. Aberdeen, after 35 years, are Scottish Cup winners once again. Just sensational.
Well, what a good save. Although it wasn't the best penalty to finish up, you can see the nerves, you can see the pressure on Alistair Johnston, but Mitov comes up with the 2 big saves in the game. Wally, it's all yours.
It's brilliant goalkeeping, isn't it, from him? Listen, he's got a huge stretch, Mitov. He's a tall figure, and if he guesses the right way and you're hitting it low, then it's going to be really difficult, for that to end up in the back of the net. He has been the hero. He is the hero. There's no doubt about that. But the penalty kicks from Aberdeen were quite sensational. 3 of them were out of this world. So, listen, the doubters were all out there. But I'll tell you what a magnificent afternoon for my old club.
I'm looking at, I know Willie Miller is a tough man. He's a legend. He's seen everything. But I'm studying his face to see if there's a tear in the eye. Willie, how are you feeling?
How
are you feeling?
I'm a little bit unsettled, I would say, right now, Tom, to be perfectly honest. A little bit unsettled. But fantastic for the club, fantastic for Jimmy Tillene, fantastic for Dave Cormack, and wonderful for these fans that are down here celebrating. Just celebrate, stay in the stand and celebrate. Allow the Aberdeen players to enjoy this moment. This is something special, 35 years in the making. It's quite incredible. The underdogs, total underdogs, nobody, including their dogs, gave Aberdeen a chance of lifting this trophy. Maybe apart from me.
You did.
And they've done it.
You absolutely did, Bill. You felt before the game, you felt they had a big chance today. Let's get down pitch side now. Tyrone Smith, who have you got?
How does it feel to have won the Scottish Cup?
This is fucking amazing. It's fucking history.
I think I'll stop there with the language, but you can tell Anthony Palaversa's a happy man.
Yeah, apologies for that language there. Tyrone, he's down on the pitch right now. The Aberdeen players are over celebrating with that huge support, 20,000 tickets. They snapped them up very, very quickly, and those that have made the journey have been rewarded. What a performance, a brave performance from their side this afternoon. Shaden Morris is coming over here down below us in the main stand. What an impact he had when he came on. He's had that all season. He's been a really good impact player. Let's get back down to Tyrone.
I'm joined now by a very happy Jack Milne. Jack, just sum up your feelings.
I can't. This is the best feeling I've ever had in my life. I can't believe it. We had the belief. I'm sorry, excuse my language. We had the belief. All of us knew we were capable of coming here and getting a result. And let me look at this now. It's amazing. Honestly, it's amazing.
And you're a local boy, an Aberdeen fan?
Oh, yeah. Me and my family. It's a dream come true. Watching all these boys, all these fans, like, it's a dream of mine.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, apologies again for the language. Emotions clearly running very, very high down there. The Aberdeen fans are in really fine voice again. And of course, everything's set up for the trophy presentation. Tom English. It's a remarkable story for Jimmy Tillene. The ride that he gave us all in the first half of the season. We all loved the story. They were top of the league. Then to that dreadful winless run. In recent weeks, Willie told us the performance has been nowhere near good enough. And somehow they found a way this afternoon.
Yeah, it's just an astonishing story for Jimmy Tillene, for Aberdeen. Nobody, bar Willie Miller, gave him a chance. I think a lot of their own fans were coming down here with a bit of fatalism. They were travelling with not a lot of hope, not a lot of expectation, because of what Celtic have done to them.
Right, back down to the pitch, Tyrone Smith.
Yeah, I'm joined by Dante Polvara. Dante, just sum up your feelings.
Honestly, I've been here 4 seasons. We've been through a lot. I think obviously second half of the season didn't go how we wanted, and the whole time I've been here, I just wanted to give the fans something to contribute in this occasion. Honestly, I never would have imagined. I try to believe. I know it's a 1% chance, but I mean, look at this. It's amazing. The sport today was amazing.
You say you've been here 4 seasons, you've been through a lot of managers, a lot of ups and downs. Does that make this even sweeter for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's 6 managers, been on loan, come back, tore my hamstring, did it again. Just try and keep pushing and be available. All I wanted was the team to have some success. I missed out on our 3rd place run because I was on loan, so, I mean, this is miles better.
And listen to those fans.
Huh?
Listen to those fans.
Oh, they're unbelievable. I mean, today they were unbelievable. This is the best I've seen them. And thank God they're all here. Yeah.
Well done today.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done to everyone connected with Aberdeen Football Club. Dave Cormack, I think, is that him down the pitch side at the moment? I spoke to him a couple of times this week. Tom English, the start of the week, he wasn't too confident, I have to say. I spoke to him this morning and he was buzzing. He just had a wee feeling. He promised us, if they did the business today, he would join us up here on the gantry. I see him down there at the moment, but what an incredible story.
I think he's going to float right up here. I don't think he's going to need the stairs. It's amazing for him. I'm actually delighted for him because he's invested an awful lot of money and an awful lot of his heart and soul into the club. It's not just hard cash. This guy is a massive Aberdeen fan, as we all know. And this is an enormous moment for him. I'd say he will be in bits right now. He's been in bits before, but for bad reasons. Today, when managers having to sack manager, today is just an awesome moment for him, for his manager, for their players and for those fans who are just astonishing. Like, this is one of the great Scottish Cup final shocks. It's an astonishing achievement by Aberdeen, given what Celtic have done to them in recent weeks and recent months, to come around and show the resilience that they had, the defensive brilliance that they had, to overcome all of those odds and to come through the penalty shootout. It's one of the great days in the history of this club.
Yeah, he's down there with Alan Burrows, just down in the technical area down below us here. Willie Miller. Willie's just having a wee chat at the moment. Willie, can you just tell us how you're feeling right now?
Well, I think it's about the fans, isn't it? I think it's about the Aberdeen fans. It's about the players as well. It's their moment, Kenny. You know, it's the players' moment. Nobody gave them a Scooby of being able to beat Celtic, and I can understand why. I've sat and I've watched the 6-0 and the 5-1 and the 5-1, but I've also watched the 2-2 at Celtic Park, and Jimmy Tillane, changing it at half-time again in the second half here, changing it. Okay, maybe not the formation, but the intent and the gap between the back and the front two, and putting on strong strikers as well. Yes, you've got to ride your luck, but you've got to do that against Celtic because they're a magnificent outfit. And that's what Aberdeen did, but they had the good fortune, and the second half of ordinary time was brilliant. I really enjoyed the second half ordinary time.
Let's get back down pitch side. Leighton Clarkson, you've got him now, Tyrone.
Yeah, Leighton, just sum up how you're feeling.
Oh, absolutely incredible. No one believed in us. We always had that hope, that bit of faith that we could come here and do it. We've done the plan to a T. We sat in, we frustrated them. They scored a set piece, which we're disappointed about, but none of that cares anymore. We come into this game believing, and we've done it. And I can't believe it.
How big a motivation was that? Because the boys came down here with just about everyone, certainly outside the dressing room, writing you off.
No, exactly. This squad's been together from the very start, through the great start we had to, the downfall, and then when we're coming back. So, listen, we've done it together. Everyone was unbelievable, and we're just so happy to give this not only to ourselves but to the fans as well. I mean, could hear him throughout the whole game, supported us to the hilt, and yeah, that's best we could have given.
And this is what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. This is why we play football, and I've been handing a few times now, and been on the wrong end of some matches, but I'm so happy that I could come here today, and together as Aberdeen we could lift the cup.
Yeah, well done, go and lift that cup.
Yeah, he's a quality player, Leighton Clarkson. Just seen Jimmy Tillane there. He was congratulating Dave Cormack. Dave Cormack now congratulating Mitov there. He's been very, very solid, you'd have to say, for the Dons. Of course, he was out for a spell, injured. But what struck me, Pat, was the quality of the penalties from Aberdeen.
Brilliant penalties, absolutely brilliant. Top corner, 3 of them up in the top corner, right-hand corner from players you probably wouldn't expect to hit them so well. Brilliant, we're absolutely brilliant. And then of course Celtic's, I think the last penalty was a really tired penalty from Johnson. Callum McGregor's was well struck, but it was a good height for the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper obviously makes the big saves. He could have made 3 saves. He had the 2 saves, and then the one that went through him. we were looking at it and saying, oh my word. And that could have been the end of things for Celtic. But listen, Aberdeen deserved it from a point of view of the way that they changed their structure, changed the way that they were going to play today. We talked about that tactical adaptability. They did it. They defended their box well when they had to do it. Yes, there wasn't a lot from an attacking point of view in the game. They got their goal. Critical, which is always you have a chance of scoring. They got their goal, and then they hung in there. They had that. It was a decent chance for Papagaya, but not a brilliant chance. Celtic had a big chance with Maeda going through. That was the big one. And the shots off the post and off the crossbar. So they had a better chance than Celtic, probably more control of the game. But it just didn't click for them today. And Aberdeen deserve it. You won a cup, you absolutely deserve it. And Willie was kidding me on yesterday that they had to leave early in the morning, Sunday morning, to get up for the open top bus parade.
I wasn't kidding you on.
Yeah. And it's come true for you, Willie. You'll have to leave at 6 in the morning.
Willie's driving the bus.
Willie, what gave you you were quite confident, I think it's fair to say, before this game today. What gave you that confidence?
Well, just now it's not mistaken confidence, but at the time when I was asked if Aberdeen could do it, I thought they could do it because they've got some good quality players. You know, they've got players that can make an impact. They've got Shaden Morris, for instance.